Hey everyone, it's Comic Artist Pro Secrets, and I'm Ethan Van Sciver, a 26-year veteran of the comic book industry. I'm not letting you look at my hands now. I'm actually going to do a regular live stream with these fellas. Oh, Yellow Flash is here. Sweet. Hey, what's up?
Hello, hello.
You should be on your knees thanking Gad for Comicsgate. Yellow Flash, everyone. Adam Post and Sweens joining us tonight.
What's up, guys?
Just
Are you live right now?
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah.
It says reminder set on your thing.
Oh, no, I believe I'm
live.
Okay,
no, you are live. I see now.
Ninolu says, where's Zach? All right, so Zach was in the chat just a little while ago, and I go, yeah, let me get Zach in here because I haven't had Zach on in a little while. So I get off of that stream, and I go to Zach, and Zach's like, oh, my God. He's like, Ethan, I can't. I have to wake up at 4:30 a.m. to get on a trip, to go on a trip. And I was like, I was like, so you can't come on? He's like, no. He's like, I just wanted to watch you draw the cover. I'm like, son of a bitch. So Zach isn't here, and that is, that's okay.
I'd really like to get his take on cuck clops.
Oh my God, dude. yeah. Like that cuck clops thing is crazy. You know what? No, honestly, I liked him better as a cuck than a pervert, which is the situation that we find ourselves in right now. Like,
well, he was never officially a cuck before Cyclops.
Yes, he was.
No, he didn't share rooms with Wolverine and Jean Grey.
But
I mean, they have conjoined rooms, Ethan.
No. I mean, it's here's the thing. Like, before Wolverine was sleeping with Jean Grey, you know what I mean? Or at least the inference was there. I can't remember if he actually did or not in New X-Men. But like before, that was the thing. It was like, hey, like, Scott has a very tenuous hold on Jean's heart. So Scott's kind of a cuck. But now they're all swingers. You know what I mean? Like,
something. I mean,
something's going on.
Something's going on. I mean, you got Cyclops rubbing Wolverine's belly and stuff.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that?
Yeah,
you got to sub to Yellow Flash's channel. He's been doing a couple of amazing videos on that.
Well, yeah, I did like 3 on because I thought it was hilarious. I did the comic review, and then I did a whole video dedicated to it because it's just too hot not to touch.
What would you call that? What would you call what they are? You'd call them swingers? Polyamorous. All right, let me look up something about this and just make sure that we're on the same page.
Didn't you call him a snack boy too?
Yeah, Cyclops is the snack boy.
I'm like,
Wolverine's territorial, so if anyone's in the corner watching, it's not Logan.
No.
I mean, if anything, I think they're turning Cyclops into a pair of finger cuffs because you've got Jean Grey with the strap on. She's got her own Cyclops strapped on. She's in the back of Cyclops, and then Wolverine's in the front. And you got some Chinese finger cuffs.
You think they're spit roasting Cyclops? Oh,
Wolverine's pretty old. I'm sure he's down for some new experiences.
Oh my God, this is awful news.
I mean, you wrote a song called Wolverine's Gay.
I knew it all along.
Prophetic.
X-Men #1 might have solved the longest running mutant love triangle, and it's all in an architectural diagram. God. X-Men #1 marking the new dawn of the X-Men is a blast, but amid all the mad science, space travel, Senian Islands, there was one big revelation fit to shake the walls of X-Men fandom. At least it looks that way. Shippers, ready your pens. This piece contains spoilers for X-Men #1. All right, so we got Cyclops. He's saying, on your right, and their gorillas coming. Be careful. They're sure to be savvy. All these apes have PhDs. What do you think of this? This is pretty good art from Lineal Francis.
The art's been great throughout the entire Hickman run, at least on his stuff. Has been awesome. I've liked his run so far. Powers of X was really good. And House of 10, or is it House of X and Powers of 10? I think is the 2 books.
Yeah. All right, so what is this? So this is a top-down view of the bedrooms in the summer house.
Yeah, so this is his off base. So they have the Kuroka Island, and this is like a habitat on the moon. It's his off, like it's his, it's his house. It's away from the island, but it has a gate to the island. Do you know that island? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So It's on the moon, and this is where the whole Summers family lives, except one person who's not a Summers blood relative, and that's Wolverine, who shares the only set of conjoined rooms.
Got it. Look at
in the
this.
whole thing.
Oh shit!
And Jean's in the middle.
This is
So
Jean Grey's room.
Jean can close Scott's door and open up and let Wolverine in anytime.
All right, this is some cuckery. This is some mad cuckery. Yeah, all right. The rooms are conjoined in a way that none of the other bedrooms are.
Look at the three of them together.
Oh no.
Oh.
Is this degenerate Yellow Flash? I mean,
yeah.
Well, it's progressive Marvel.
Look at he is. He's like, look at his little hand on Wolverine's.
He's rubbing his belly, man. Wolverine's got the bills. He's got the beers. Cyclops is rubbing his belly, ready for that beer. Jean Grey's just ready because she knows she's gonna get it in 2 holes tonight.
Oh,
would you trust Marvel to like? So you're gonna expose your kids to Marvel's characters now? Forget about, let's say all this is even acceptable. What are they going to be doing in 5 or 10 years?
oh my God! We have so many dirt bags right now.
You're assuming they're going to be around in 5 to 10 years.
Well, whatever. Disney's not going anywhere. That much we know. Well, as long as they can poison minds, they're going to keep doing this stuff. They don't do it for the money. They do it for the poison.
Well, we know they're not doing the comics for the money.
Yeah.
They're not doing the comics for the money. They're wacky. They're wacky. Money's not important anymore. They have too much of it.
This is the worst news I've ever heard. He's
Yeah.
the best there is at what he does.
Spectre
What he
Comics
does
is
isn't
a-
very pretty.
Hold on. Spectre of Comics says reading too far into this. I mean, how do you not read into this? Is literally there's literally fucking a bunch of rooms in it, and the only ones that are conjoined are their rooms. And he's here rubbing his belly in this thing. Like,
Yeah.
what is it to read into? They solved the triangle. The solution is Cyclops just lets her bang Wolverine.
You know what? I was talking about Caligula tonight earlier because I watched the movie Caligula because I am Caligula reincarnated.
Mhm.
And there's a great scene in Caligula where he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a wedding gift," and he takes this married couple into a room, and he takes fat, like a big handful of lard, and he shoves it up the groom's a-hole, his b-hole, and then he sodomizes the groom in front of the bride, and then after he's done, he has his way with the bride. Wolverine is looking a bit like Caligula here, if you know what I mean. Now, if these cans are full of lube instead of beer, I think my theory might be correct. What do you think of that, Yellow Flash?
I think Cyclops is ready to experiment.
Yeah, he looks ready.
I mean, Wolverine looks like he's going to be in charge, though. Like,
Yeah.
Of course he's going to be in charge. He's Wolverine.
he's calling the shots.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a territorial guy. You think Cyclops is never getting into that redhead again.
This is what happens when the editor-in-chief...
Let me get you some pizza rolls, sir.
Pizza rolls.
I might be the commander on the battlefield, but in the bedroom, look at you,
Yeah.
Wolverine.
I got to tell you, it is. Look at Jean's face and her little smirk here. Look at that. Like, she's not a beautiful woman. She's just got that kind of. Look at her face, dude. Oh my God! Ew, gross. Like,
She's like 35, running around in a Marvel Girl costume. I mean, what is?
Look at her Brie Larson smirk. Like,
Yeah.
fuck you. Like, you're sitting there going, yeah, stick it in him. No. You know what I mean? This is degeneracy. This is not X-Men.
Well, I
Well-
like that they're both looking at Wolverine with a smile.
Yeah. Scott's definitely looking eye to eye to Wolverine. Like, he's not looking at Jean. There's no mistaking this here. He's looking at Logan. Fuck this. I'm pissed.
Yeah. It's sick. It's very bad.
Uh,
Well, 2019, man. They're experimenting now.
Yeah.
Make more mutants. That's what Nightcrawler said in the last
Make
issue.
more
So,
mutants. That's the
Yeah.
right way.
Yeah.
Mix it up.
Nightcrawler said in the last issue, make more mutants. So that's what they're doing right now.
You are
Gene's
reading too much into this shit.
How are we reading too much into it? You can see, they have conjoined rooms, and he's rubbing his belly in a panel.
That's it.
Or they come up with team strategy every night. I mean, it's pretty plain and simple. What's going on?
Antonio gets it. Welcome, Antonio Brice. You see this and you see pure degeneracy, right?
Yeah, and I'm excited for it because they're becoming like me, and that's good.
Oh.
Finger cuffs, Wolverine, and Jean Grey.
Yeah, man. Let's get it.
Ethan, after this one, there's a depraved story on Bounding into Comics with Captain Marvel and Spider-Man for the movies. I just sent it to you in the private chat.
Oh, come on with this. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Awesome. All right, let me take a look at this. I trust. Oh, you know what? It's not, they don't let you put it in there. All right.
This is pure degeneracy, and I love it.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Antonio. Great to see you guys.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Yeah.
I don't know what sleep is, so I'm like, yeah, I'll pop in. Why not?
You don't need sleep. You make up for that tomorrow.
Yeah, I appreciate your being here. Yeah, your boy Zach couldn't be here tonight. Wanted him to be here. Since he's not here, though, I do want to. Oh God, this article. Oh no.
Yeah.
What do you got? I'm.
I'll show you in 1 minute before we get there.
Disappointed in his review of X-Men #1 because he didn't touch on the cuckery at all, and I thought that was just open for several jokes that he should have cracked, and he didn't.
Yeah. Jawbreaker's God King graphic novel, $226,976. I'm working on finishing up the cover right now. One of the covers. Hopefully this is a cover too, because Kyle Ritter's cover is awesome. It's unbeatable. This artwork, obviously, it rules the universe. Aaron Alfici is an amazing, amazing artist.
Love the sense of motion. I love it.
Yeah. I love Antonio. He's like, oh yeah. This is great. I mean, I don't, if you haven't backed this yet, the link's in the description. Make sure that you do. Kyle's going to color up my cover probably tomorrow, and we're going to get this thing up. I want this campaign rocking and rolling. It needs to get to 300,000. I think it should get there. Zach just leaves it on in demand, and we'll talk about other things. We're talking about doing a crossover. Jawbreakers, CYBERFROG, and Graveyard Shift.
That's $1 million book.
No, I don't think. No, I don't think we don't want to set expectations like that. It's only gonna be a $20 book. I mean, like
will Lone Star make an appearance?
Well, you know what I mean. These are things to think about. We don't want to close any doors officially, but no, it's right now at the moment it's Jawbreakers and Graveyard Shift, CYBERFROG, and Salem Android, and just those three, and we'll just see how that goes. In the meantime, I also want to recommend Oddity to you. Oddity is Sweens, right? Sweens.
Yep, that's my book right there.
What's this video like? Is it pornographic?
A little bit.
It should be.
Are there any conjoined rooms in there?
No, there's no conjoined rooms. It's
Antonio's already disappointed.
I know. There's really not too much degeneracy, right? I mean, kind of. He's got facial.
I love words like that.
Deep in a mysterious swamp.
Beautiful color.
With a nuclear power plant in the background.
Yeah.
I've been in her swamp a few times.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of horror elements within the story, a lot of comedy as well. It's basically about a screw-up teenager who kind of gets thrown into this position of a lot of responsibility that he doesn't really want to take on. And he kind of gets thrown into this world, and he doesn't take it very seriously. And since he doesn't take it seriously, he unleashes just insanity within this town and swamp. And now he has to, step up to the plate and take on his responsibilities and, save the day or continue to screw it up. So that's the basic outline of the story. It's kind of like Swamp Thing meets Spider-Man meets Toxic Avenger. Just it's a real just fun ride, just silliness, nothing, there's no political agenda or, nothing like that. Just fun stuff. That's kind of degenerate, right?
That was beautiful. What did you think of that, Yellow Flash?
I like it. I like it better if they all had conjoined rooms.
Yeah.
There needs to be more degeneracy. That's what Yellow Flash is saying. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, guys, the link's in the description for Oddity. Make sure to support that comic. Antonio wants you to.
Sure.
I do. I want him to succeed.
Thank you, Antonio.
I'm not entirely convinced about that, honestly. It seems like Antonio is
I'm a hater? What?
I don't know if you're a hater, but I don't know. Okay. No, I'm sure Antonio loves it. Just kidding. All right, so let's go over and take a look at this article that Adam Post blessed me with, which I already, already have cancer. Just looking at the title.
Sorry.
Theory: Tom Holland's Spider-Man might form a schoolboy crush on Brie Larson's Captain Marvel.
I like it.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Why?
A lot of good videos from that.
A new theory details that Tom Holland's Spider-Man might form a schoolboy crush on Brie Larson's Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel 2. And the theory comes from Cheat Sheet, based on a rumor from We Got This Covered that Holland's Peter Parker will appear either in Captain Marvel 2 or Captain Marvel 3. Well, he better, because nobody's going to see this movie without some kind of gimmick. Sorry. Keep fucking people. They only went to this movie because they felt like they had to.
Well, now they'll have to, because Spider-Man will be in it. And the Disney plan has got to be, you know what? We'll grab as much of Spider-Man as we can, and we'll squeeze it, and we'll squeeze it, and we'll squeeze Spider-Man until he's dead, until there's nothing good left in Spider-Man as we spread him. Because you have the IP of Spider-Man. They'll spread it thin enough around enough garbage Marvel properties, social justice warrior properties, until there's no value to Spider-Man left.
Yeah. Well, this is what they do in the comics.
Well, they can't do that though. Sony owns it. I mean, they only have two more movies.
They're pretty crafty, those Disney boys. They only have 2 more movies, but they're pretty crafty. So we thought Sony was going to save us last time, but here they are making this freaking deal again.
Yeah, this is what they did with the comics too. Yellow Flash. This is how they sell. This is how SJWs think they sell their shitty characters to us. It's like they go, okay, here's a shitty feminist character, and everyone likes them. Everyone likes this character. They're perfect in every way, and everyone likes them. So of course, Spider-Man has a crush on Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, so that means you should too. And I can't believe they're doing it in the movies.
Nobody's got a crush on Cosmic Karen.
Here, and you're not wrong, Ethan. Flash, you might remember this better than I do. The first page of the first issue of America Chavez. Who all was on there praising this random lesbian character? I know Storm was on there.
She's the future.
Yeah. Then there was, I think, they had Miles Morales on there. Some random, Bull Dyke. It's this is the tactic. It's take established character and then have them tell you how awesome this other character is, rather than just telling a good story that illustrates how awesome the character actually is. If you have Hal Jordan in a comic, he does something cool. You have lesbian superhero number 357. Everybody else has to tell you how awesome they are. It's terrible storytelling.
Gots the Iron Hand says, this just in, everyone crushes on a block of wood. That is right.
Yeah.
And, Mike TV says Spider-Man will show up in a tutu next film. Quote me. I mean, he's already there. This Spider-Man is a soy boy. He really isn't. He's not as brave. I don't know. He's just a whiny kind of stalker. He stalked Tony Stark. A little fanboy. I just don't think this is Spider-Man.
He's more in line with the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, maybe, right?
That I'll agree with. I wouldn't say that he's not Spider-Man. I think that there's some elements of the character that they really do get pretty well. But there's other parts of it that I think they were limited by the fact that they couldn't have Reed Richards in there for him to glom onto like he did in the comics back in the days. He had to use Tony instead, stuff like that.
Well, that's the rumor, is he's going to be his mentee.
And that would make sense, because that was the way that it was, in the comic books for years. Is he was, he always looked up to Reed. So,
let me read this article. We'll see. We got this covered. Specifically notes that Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige wants Spider-Man and an upcoming Captain Marvel due to concern over the film's potential bottom line. That's correct. YouTuber Doomcock, hail Doomcock, echoed this rumor when he detailed that a source told him that Marvel had been planning to pair up Captain Marvel with Spider-Man, quote, in order to humanize and balance Captain Marvel out. God damn it.
That is such a bad place to be in on a creative level. We have to bring in the most human character in comic book history in Spider-Man to humanize this block of wood who hates everything. And
that's what they did in the actual Captain Marvel movie. They surrounded her with Samuel Jackson, Jude Law.
Yeah, all these top end actors who are actually putting a little bit of something into it. And then she's just there. Like, there were parts of that movie where she just kind of like stares at the camera, and you're sitting there in the seat going, line.
Yeah.
Like, what's the fucking line here? Like, seriously?
The porno actress was much better.
Yeah.
You'll have to let me know on that one. I'm kind of trying to avoid that kind of stuff. So
I watched it the other day. It's pretty good.
What did you watch?
That Captain Marvel porno.
You did?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh. All right. Well, I'll look into that myself, just for the purpose of
she has a lot more talent.
Does she? Well, it's obviously. But okay,
She's a talented young lady, Ethan.
She is. Have you let her know that? I mean, she's on Twitter right now, and people are telling her. I think Mecha Random 42 had a nice conversation with her about her talent, which was fun.
Oh, did she respond back? See if I get her on for a stream.
Yeah.
I don't know why you couldn't. I mean, you know what? Jenna Jameson was talking to me for a little while on Twitter, and I was thinking, boy, it would be nice to get her on a stream.
That girl would probably wear the costume too, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Good PR.
The theory is primarily based off Spider-Man's brief interaction with Captain Marvel in Avengers Endgame. Captain Marvel arrives at the final battle by tearing her way through Thanos' flagship. After destroying the ship, she seeks out Peter Parker and retrieves the Infinity Gauntlet from him. Peter tells her, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker," to which she responds, "Hey, Peter Parker. Hey, Peter Parker." However, they also point to the comics where Peter briefly went on a date with Carol Danvers in Ms. Marvel number 47.
Back when Carol was hot.
Yeah.
Or did you know they CGI'd her hair for Endgame?
Did they really?
Yeah. That she had a cap on. That's all. Her hair is CGI or something.
Interesting. That Mike McCone artwork here. As you would expect in any superhero comic where the main story centers around a date, a number of low-level villains crash the party. However, Spider-Man and Ms. Marvel are not deterred. They vacate their fancy locally grown food restaurant in favor of a street vendor and is made from scratch chili hot dogs. Ooh, god damn, who drew this? Sorry, I shouldn't say things like that.
I said the same. Yeah.
Sweet Jesus. You know what? I don't want to see this kind of a bulge in a guy's mouth, please. You know what I'm saying?
Let's be honest though, man. Carol's old costume is so much better than her current one.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
That was before the transition.
Yeah.
Don't do that. You guys have to have some common sense. Cheat Sheet theorizes that Parker might become enamored by Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel 2. They even note that the writer might actually use this infatuation for comedic relief, displaying Peter Parker's reaction to Brie Larson's Captain Marvel in serendipitous instances. However, this theory fails to factor in the most recent Spider-Man film, Spider-Man Far From Home. After his battle with Mysterio, MJ kisses Peter Parker for the first time while he's fretting over his broken gift for her. MJ explains, "I don't have much luck when it comes to getting close to people. That's why I lied. I wasn't just watching you because I thought you were Spider-Man." Peter Parker tells her, "I really like you." She responds, "I really like you too." The two then kiss again. When they return to New York, they would go out on their first date, with Peter taking her on a swinging tour of the city that ends abruptly in Times Square, with J. Jonah Jameson making his first appearance in the MCU. I find it hard to believe they would have Peter Parker become infatuated with Captain Marvel so quickly after beginning a relationship with MJ in Far From Home. That's a good point. And the evidence from an obscure Ms. Marvel comic and 2 lines in Avengers Endgame is hardly anything to go by. That's a good point.
Yep.
It's all, well, I mean, look, this is, there's not much to go on here. I mean, there really isn't that much evidence here, you know.
Yeah, not to mention, it'd be such a waste of an appearance. Like, if you've only got a couple of movies to do with Tom Holland, you need to do another solo one, and then you need to do Spider-Man and Venom. Because that second one, I would say that's Avengers money.
I'm not really buying into this theory at all, says John F. Trent. But given Marvel's Phase 4 announcements, it's not that far-fetched an idea either. What do you make of this theory? Do you think Peter Parker will develop a schoolboy crush on Brie Larson's Captain Marvel? Yes, I do. Okay, yes, I do.
Doesn't make sense, but I think it's going to happen too.
Yeah. Good Lord, look at her.
Idiots.
I want to speak to your manager right now.
The whole thing about Brie Larson is, and you know, she exists just to troll us. She just to make us angry. She drives me nuts. Welcome, Nikki the Pipe. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Preston, my man.
What's up, Bryce?
Hold on, I'm watching the porn, the Captain Marvel porno right now.
Okay.
Are you really?
No, I'm not. I can't stomach it.
Well, I mean, it's pornography. You know, I mean, Flash, you've seen it and you liked it.
Yeah, she's a talented young lady.
Could you tell which one was the girl in the porno? Or...
Yeah, there's no mistakes there.
What scenes did they parody in the movie? Like, you know, did they do the motorcycle guy who says, "Hey, what's up"?
I'm not too sure. I have to go back and rewatch it.
You weren't really paying attention. You probably didn't get more than 5 minutes into it.
You're supposed to fast forward through those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly.
I'm saving many parts for later.
Yeah. Well, this stream is called Joe Quesada, Demotion, a whole lot of emotions. Now, that's all of us. I think we all have. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he has quite a few emotions about it. Do we have emotions? Oh, Antonio left, and he's okay. Antonio's in that chat. Do we have emotions about this? How do you feel about it, Adam? How do you feel, you know, about Joe Quesada being demoted from chief creative officer to some obscure fake made up title?
My feeling, I do have feelings for this, and also just from a business perspective, I kind of understand. I think about what's going on there, and obviously Joe Quesada was not contributing enough to the organization as far as Marvel Corporate was concerned. And you know, they have so many things that they're doing at Marvel. They kind of do need one person in charge of all this. Mm-hmm. But I blame Ike Perlmutter, who I think is an amazing guy. He saved the company. He made $1 billion. He came to this country with nothing. But he didn't need all that money. I wish he would have just hung on to the damn thing, at least most of it. Because when you sell something, it's not yours anymore. You know, like what happened to Rob Liefeld with Youngblood. And that's why, like, of course, he should never do a deal with CYBERFROG. It's Joe Quesada. What happened to this guy?
Put the picture of him putting dollar bills in the strippers' bras.
I probably won't. We'll keep this one up. This is just an illustration.
He looks like CyberFrog's grandfather.
It is funny. But that's why you do.
It's CyberFrog cosplay.
You make your own comics. You hold on to your rights. You don't take checks for your rights. You hold on to your intellectual property because it's going to get ruined. You know, at some point, like this guy, Ike Perlmutter, he's got to be like 80 years old or something. He could have protected stories for children for like 2 or 3 more generations. You know, Disney, they were Steve Jobs, apparently, according to Iger's book, Steve Jobs encouraged Ike to trust Disney. In any case, this was going to happen. I think it just means there's going to be more SJW Marvel film stuff all that much quicker. Because
why do you think that? Do you think Ike was standing in the way of SJW Marvel at all? I think he was supporting it.
He was supporting it, but the thing was, there's this whole push and pull between the comics, which is really Ike's office, versus what Hollywood wanted to do. And Ike was pushing back. Like when they wanted to do Captain Marvel, Ike was sending correspondence back and forth saying, hey, female movies don't make money. You know, don't do that so quickly. We have a lot of other stuff that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And the film side was just like, oh no, let's just do, let's do Captain Marvel. Now they wanted to do Black Panther, which turned out to be a hit. And Ike was concerned about that because there wasn't other successful stuff like that just yet. And obviously Marvel was right about Black Panther. It was a whole cultural success. But Joe Quesada was probably there just to kind of blunt Ike, to have another person that he would go with the wind, so if they needed him to just, dilute Ike's authority somehow as a chief creative guy or whatnot, that would be a purpose that he would serve.
Micah, when do you think, no, let me ask it this way. Do you think Joe Quesada's reign over Marvel Comics was mostly successful, or how do you feel?
As editor-in-chief, it's hard to deny the numbers. There was a lot of comics that got sold when he was the EIC. Now, on the flip side, he tarnished all of that by, at least from what I have heard, basically ghostwriting One More Day, which also was a book that could have tanked J. Michael Straczynski's career, given how reviled it still is. You say the words "one more day" around comic book fans are liable to kill someone. Yeah. And for good reason, because it was one of the worst stories.
Why? What was it about?
Well, basically, Spider-Man makes a deal with the devil to keep Aunt May alive and destroy his marriage. Right. It was basically there because Quesada never got over the fact that Gwen Stacy died a long time ago, and he's pathetic. Just when it comes to that, from what Vinny has told me, he was barely doing anything those days anyway. But he had success, but it's always going to be overridden by the fact that he's got such an unearned ego. He's a talented artist, but it's like, wait, what books really came out that are really that well remembered?
Oh, I disagree.
Like Civil War, I think, is probably the only big one.
No. Quesada has a well-earned ego. I disagree. I think Joe is one of the most talented artists of the '90s, and seriously, like, his stuff really blew my mind. He was using 3-point perspective in these covers. His stuff was just from Mars. And he was really just good. I think he was a spiritual successor to Joe Quesada, to Todd McFarlane. And then when he took over Marvel, I think he took really a sinking ship and brought his kind of McFarlane-esque spirit to it, with Daredevil, with Kevin Smith, Grant Morrison's new X-Men, the Spider-Man and X-Men movies. I mean, he did a lot to kind of raise the bar for Marvel Comics and make Marvel Comics feel prestigious again. And I will tell you, I worked for Marvel for a year and a half, and Marvel was broke. I mean, when Joe Quesada came on board, Marvel was broke, okay? And broke like a joke, horrible. Marvel Comics, if you had a window office, Yellow Flash, this is true, I want you to absorb this. Marvel Comics in 2000, if you had a window office, you weren't allowed to turn your lights on. To save the electricity.
Get out of here.
100%. You had to bring your own toilet paper. It was a disaster. And I showed up there, and it's like, I mean, it looked like a shitty apartment. Marvel Comics was a mess.
Weren't you on New X-Men?
Yeah.
Was that after Green Lantern?
No, before. Before, yeah. I was on New X-Men.
The omnibus of that. It's only like $80.
Nice.
Yeah, that's one hell of a run.
Probably one of the last best. I mean, what's been good since that? X-Men wise.
X-Men wise? Oh God, that's a good question.
I mean, I could think of Wolverine's. The Wolverine. Do you ever read Enemy of the State? That was fantastic.
Yeah, the Frank Miller stuff was great. I'm trying to think X-Men stuff. I'm trying to remember who wrote it after Morrison did during Quesada's time. Because
the fact that it's forgettable says something.
Well, there were a couple of good bits in there. Brubaker was on part of it. He did the one that introduced Vulcan, that arc. I forget the name of it, but I still remember what the story was.
The fall of the Shi'ar Empire.
Yeah, but that led into War of Kings, and that was pretty good. There's a lot of that's the interesting thing about Quesada, and I think maybe I just didn't put it together correctly, is like, again, crazy amount of success. One More Day overshadows a lot of really good books. My favorite probably during that time was Annihilation.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Like you had, I always forget the writers, but I remember Andrew DeVito was the one who did the art for that. And the art was phenomenal during that point. Like it was, and the story was so well written.
Yeah.
So
Marvel's fell a long way since Annihilation.
oh yeah. Well, the cosmic scene doesn't even exist anymore.
No. Like their artwork on their books is terrible. I mean, it's horrible.
Ethan, I don't know if you have you seen the art of the Silver Surfer Black?
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh my God!
Preston
on that.
Preston and I were streaming earlier, and we like a couple days ago, and we talked about it. And this guy who's doing the art for it has done really good stuff. He did an issue of Venom that was Quesada got more chins than Chinese
that's Quesada?
Yeah.
But, is that the same artist that's doing Absolute Carnage?
No, you're thinking of Ryan Stegman.
He's
did
really
Ghost
good.
Rider.
Yeah, he did. This guy who's doing Silver Surfer Black did Venom with the last writer before Cates took over.
Yeah,
he did one issue, but it was really well done. But the art in Silver Surfer Black is just
it was terrible. Well, people are comparing that guy to Kirby, like his art for Silver Surfer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
is he trans?
No, he's a really talented artist, but he's phoning it in.
Oh, he's phoning it in. Like I don't know. Like maybe Marvel cut his pay.
Editors are supposed to be there to help get your best work out of you. You know, you cultivate that relationship. You give the artists confidence. You help them. You give them whatever they need to produce their best work. Jim Stallicup was doing that for Todd McFarlane on Spider-Man when they came up with Spider-Man #1. The Todd McFarlane's, obviously huge seller. And Jim Shooter obviously did that for Marvel Comics as editor-in-chief when he was there. But what happened? They
hire more on political ideology. I mean, look, they just hired that Zoe Quinn bitch to come in. Like, that's obviously done as a fuck you to everybody. So like, they don't really give a shit about talent. They don't care.
No, they care about being politically correct. They could give a shit about talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still throw that at the feet of Sana Amanat. I have a feeling if she wasn't there, we wouldn't have a lot of these issues.
But I guess that happens whenever you're politically correct and you're not bringing in any cash. You see
exactly.
You can't hire really good people at that point.
Yeah, when they hired Zoe Quinn, it's like DC hired her, she failed, and then Marvel brought her in.
Jesus Christ!
It's a murderer right there.
The hell.
Yeah, she is a terrible, terrible, terrible human being.
Not just DC's like, you failed. We're going to give you a Superman.
You know
Batman
what? Every time you guys, every time you in the chat, you guys say something I don't like, I'm going to zoom out with this picture. You are going to thank the Lord Jesus. You're going to thank God for me and my mercy that I have it zoomed in this close.
Oh, God.
She's not looking very happy pretty.
No, not at all.
Pits.
Yeah.
Silver lining.
Says, bleach my eyeballs. I'm sorry, I don't like that, so I'm zooming out one. Let's see. That is a man, says Felix Haas. I don't like that, so I'm zooming out one. You see what?
Oh, for the love of God!
Oh, God.
Now I could keep going.
Chat, start complimenting CyberFrog right now. I'm gonna jump through your screens and beat the shit out of you.
It's good. It's a good thing I got a garbage can close.
Kevin Spladey says, "Do it, sissy." All right, I don't like that. Here we go.
Oh, bitch.
Jesus.
Oh no. Oh.
You're gonna give us all herpes with this.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys.
So that's what that itch is.
And somebody dated that?
5 guys dated that.
Oh God! At once.
Dated. I think you're being a little generous with the word dated there, Flash.
Yeah.
I don't know why I went and I pulled up this Tradmore art, but this is just drives me crazy. He's done such good work, and then just this flat crap.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Marvel is like shafting people on page rates. They have to be.
Oh my God! Yeah.
They play in Peanuts.
Well, I mean, they don't have a lot to spend anymore. I mean, so this is the thing. I mean, this is the way. This is how we know what we're doing is working, and this is how we know what we're saying is right. I mean, Axel Alonso, I think, led the charge for SJW Marvel, and he's gone. And Joe Quesada backed him up for a long time, and now he was chief creative officer, and he has been demoted to a made-up job title. They want to keep him around, And who do we have left? I mean, I guess Tom Brevoort. Keep your eye on Brevoort.
I would love to see Tom Brevoort gone.
Yeah,
make me a happy man.
Well, he's got really too many skeletons that he knows where all the bodies are buried.
Buried, yeah.
He's got to.
Say he's definitely you'd have to be that comfortable with treating Jim Starlin like shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah. He did treat Jim Starlin like shit. By the way, do not treat Jim Starlin like shit. You don't know what that guy's like if you do that.
I'm obviously biased in Starlin's favor if you look over my shoulder, but yeah.
I talked to him at Bubba Fest. Very nice man.
Yeah, he signed my copy of Thanos Quest actually. So that's kind of awesome.
Jim Starlin will tolerate zero shit. And I mean in every aspect of his life. Jim Starlin is a very serious man who demands respect. And you cannot F with him. And he doesn't like chicanery, he doesn't like goofballery. He just doesn't like it. So
well, he helped mature Marvel Cosmic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
he made it what it is.
Well,
what it was.
Kirby made it what it was, but Jim Starlin pushed it the rest of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like with Adam Warlock, Thanos.
His Silver Surfer run is still the best one.
There wouldn't be an Infinity Gauntlet without Jim Starlin. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige treated him better though. Little segue there, but Feige apparently gave him a ton of respect, which he should, because Jim Starlin's a freaking legend.
Yeah, Jim Starlin. Think about like this, like his creation of Thanos. Now, first of all, is Thanos a kind of a ripoff of Darkseid? Yes or no?
Nah.
You don't think so?
Maybe
motivations are different.
Okay.
Look maybe in character when you get to the bones of him. Darkseid's a tyrant. Thanos is more of a nihilistic force.
Yeah.
He's the psychology is completely different. That's why I like Thanos a lot better, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. I like Thanos too. Marvel has been riding that train for quite a while. Is Jim Steranko a multimillionaire? What do you think? What's your guess?
Does he own the intellectual property at all?
I don't know how much of it he owns. Like, I don't know if Marvel granted him any kind of percentage in Thanos. I guess they had to. They must have.
They probably cut him a check or something, but you have experience with how Marvel and DC cut checks. DC's more fair, and Marvel's a little bit short on the money.
Yeah, DC's incredibly generous.
Even if you recall, the Rocket Raccoon creator.
Oh God!
And Marvel was not like paying out for his medical while they're using his IP. So there have been a lot of stories about Marvel not paying out a lot on IP.
Who was the Ghost Rider creator? Hold on a second. Do you remember this story?
Yes.
Oh my God.
The creator of Johnny Blaze or the original Ghost Rider?
Not the Western one. The Johnny Blaze.
So Johnny Blaze. Yeah, that was Roy Thomas.
The one that they sued for $300,000.
Yeah, that's Roy Thomas.
Yeah.
No, let's see. I think it's Gary Friedrich.
Yeah, that's Gary Friedrich.
This is absolutely insane. This story makes me mental. When I think about Marvel Comics and how evil Marvel can be, and they're not evil all the time. I don't want to suggest that, but how evil they can be, how spiteful they can be. Marvel forces Ghost Rider creator to stop saying he's Ghost Rider creator. Can you imagine this?
Oh,
this is an old man. This guy died just recently. After nearly 5 years of bitter and depressing legal back and forth, only slightly ameliorated by the fact that it concerned a biker with a flaming skull, Marvel has won a lawsuit that forces Ghost Rider creator Gary Friedrich to stop identifying himself as Ghost Rider creator Gary Friedrich simply because he is the creator of Ghost Rider. Fucking You sons of bitches. This guy is an old man. He's going around to conventions and he's trying to make a little bit of money in his retirement years by letting people know what he's famous for. Marvel says, hell with that. Look at this. The oddly existentialist decision brings an end to the core battle first launched in 2007, back when Friedrich sued Marvel, claiming that the rights to the character had reverted back to him in 2001 and were subsequently being exploited by the company's Ghost Rider film and its attendant merchandising. In response, Marvel argued that it was Friedrich who had relinquished all rights to his creations by signing his checks, all of which came stamped with legalese, spelling out that this was a work-for-hire contract only, and followed up with their defense by countersuing Friedrich in 2010, seeking damages for all the Ghost Rider prints and other merchandise that Friedrich had sold at conventions. Now, if you are a comic book pro, who works at Marvel or DC, there's you're not allowed to be selling prints. You're just not allowed. Like, that's okay. Like, legally, all of these guys that you see sitting around in Artist Alley selling Batman prints, these guys are breaking the law. These guys can get sued.
Yeah.
But Marvel and DC have this kind of benevolent thing where they kind of go, we're going to pretend we don't see what you're doing. We're going to pretend, because we're trying to be nice. We understand ultimately we're robbing you of your entire life as a creator. It's like you're spending your entire life drawing our characters. You're going to wake up one day and realize you own none of this. So go ahead and sell prints of art, for $20. Go ahead. But if you fuck with them, like you're seeing here, they will come down like a ton of bricks. All right. Of course, it's fairly common practice employed by most comic book industry types who enjoy eating and paying rent. But Marvel made an exception in Friedrich's case because it did not like being sued very much. As payback, not only can Friedrich no longer sell his Ghost Rider merchandise, he can't even represent himself as its co-creator, thereby robbing him of any potential financial gain he might accrue from convention appearances and the like. He will, however, be able to sign officially licensed Marvel merchandise, either with ink or bitter tear stains. Yikes.
It's cold.
A merger like this. Well, this story actually explains why Disney and Marvel merged.
Yeah.
It's like two forces of evil just came together to make this
absolutely
storm.
Evilness.
A similar thing happened to Marv Wolfman, who created Blade.
Right?
Yeah. Marv really got screwed out of that one.
Marv,
these are legends too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
unless I'm remembering the story wrong, Marv Wolfman had self-published Blade somewhere else, like his version of Blade, and then he brought that property to Marvel, worked in Marvel's books, and brought Blade in, and somehow it was because it was the early 70s. The copyright law was like work for hire was like, I think in 1976 it came in. It's all sorts of intellectual property jazz, but bottom line was, even though he had kind of created Blade before he worked for Marvel, when he went to work for Marvel, he lost his IP.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's why, Ethan, even though all these guys that you're working with the crossover, I mean, those guys are all blood brothers and stuff like that. But just the same, just to have a written agreement that says everybody owns what they own. Not that you'd ever have a problem with any of those guys. It's just, it's weird. And the other thing too is, like, I was in business co-publishing with someone. Well, I thought I was in business with the person that I went into business with. But the reality was, when he got married, I was actually in business with him and his wife. So his wife and me, I was single. Still am single, good for me. But anyway, so then you wind up with other people in your life that you'd never planned on, and that ties into your intellectual property. And not everybody's ex-wives are very nice. Sometimes they're not.
Yeah, same here.
Mine had no problem.
Things, and it affected some of my IP from back in the day. So.
Yeah. All right. So look at this. This is craziness right here. Not only did they make it so that he couldn't sell anymore and that he wasn't allowed to identify himself, now it's time to stick the knife in and twist it. Marvel, in addition, is also demanding $17,000 from the unemployed, financially destitute 68-year-old, which comic book sources surmises will serve as a warning to all others who currently enjoy the privilege of selling their own unlicensed merchandise and should maybe just keep their mouths shut. Anyway, so far, comics fans seem pretty evenly divided over whether Friedrich got what was coming to him for the way he went about things, or if this is just another example of a massive comic book corporation exploiting its employees Sentiment that has even called some to call for a boycott of the upcoming Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. To that end, even as Friedrich is mounting his appeal, at least one person has penned an open letter asking Nicolas Cage to put an end to this public relations disaster by stepping in and giving Friedrich the 17 grand himself, dousing the flames of this controversy in his own fiery pee. Of course, that would depend on Nicolas Cage spending his money on something other than houses, pyramids, and $2,000 steak knives. So maybe Friedrich shouldn't count on it. Fuck Marvel. Are you kidding me, dude?
Well, it's because of companies like this that Comicsgate came around. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And another problem they have, though, is like their characters that were created in the 70s and even some in the 80s and whatnot, their paperwork wasn't so hot either. You know, so they have a work for hire is stamped on the back of their checks from the 1970s that may or may not hold up in court when they're trying to say they own all these characters that they sell. So it affects their ownership, but they should obviously just settle stuff like that. Ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. Jamie Johnson says, EVS, did you get royalties for Jessica Cruz? Hold on, I missed it. The thing disappeared. In the Fatal 5 movie. No. Jessica Cruz in Justice League versus Fatal 5. No, you know, DC Comics, first of all, let me just say one thing. Marvel Comics sucks at this. DC Comics is aces at this. I have zero complaints about the way DC Comics handles, you know, the character ownership and things like that. They really, really are generous. Marvel's horrible. Zoe Kravitz played Angel, a character that I own a piece of in X-Men First Class, and I thought I was going to get like 20 grand for it. And Marvel goes, no, in order for you to get 20 grand, her name has to be in the title. So here's a check for $800. And I was like, fuck, like that sucked, dude. I was like,
Starlin said that he got more money for the short time one of his characters appeared in the Justice League movie than he did for Thanos appearing in the Avengers.
Dude, I heard Starlin say that. I've told you guys already, and I don't care. Like, you know, I'll tell you guys numbers because this is called Comic Artist Pro Secrets. But I just got another $13,000 for Flash Iron Heights. For Iron Heights appearing in the Justice League movie. It's in the Iron Heights prison is where Barry Allen talks to his dad that's in prison. And because they're wearing Iron Heights jumpsuits and everything, and I own stake in Iron Heights, I received a check for $92,000 and then another check just recently for $13,000 for continued DVD sales. That's DC Comics. That's what bought this house. So, you know, very, very happy. No problem with DC. And what a contrast between them and Marvel, you know.
I was told also, I forgot by who, but somebody at Marvel, that when they were doing the going through the bankruptcy, they reached out to creators and they kind of said, listen, you need to sign some paperwork, and if you don't, our obligations to you to pay royalties and participation is going to go away in the bankruptcy. And the complication being, like, a company has all these debts, they're going to go bankrupt. The company has whatever assets it has whatever debts it has, and then when the bankruptcy judge goes through it with a magic wand, especially if you're not a straight owner, if you're just like, I get a royalty from, no, you don't. It's a lot of it's up to the bankruptcy judge, but basically you just become considered an unsecured creditor rather than like you know. So bottom line is, yeah, it's rough times. Maybe that's one of the reasons why DC is better at it, because they've never been bankrupt. But thank God.
Well, you know, they don't have to do this. See, the thing that you have to understand, by the way, is that these are called incentive payments.
Yeah.
And they use that. They're not royalties. I've seen them use the word royalties on your set. Like, you get a bunch of different kinds of checks from DC. Every quarter you get royalties that are publishing. And for me, they suck because it's just like, I'm not doing anything. So it's just people reselling Flash Rebirth, Green Lantern Rebirth, and my you know, evergreen trade paperbacks and things in digital. So I'll get like a quarterly royalty check, and then twice a year you get participation incentive checks, which are your checks for the characters that you own stock in, so to speak. And Atrocitus, all the different characters that I've created for DC that I own. they'll cut me a check, like if there was a toy or if it was used in another comic book. And those checks are much bigger than the publishing checks are for me.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So Christmas time, they come in, and then like, yeah, we just got that one, I think in June or July, another 13 cards. So in total, what, $105,000 for creating Iron Heights Prison, 6 figures for creating. And by the way, when we created that book, me and Jeff Johns, like it didn't sell. Like, we didn't get any royalties for it. We're like, what the hell, dude? Yeah, it all paid off. You know, we just had to wait 20 years. You know,
just for making a prison. That's crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Is it discretionary what they pay you, or is it read and structured as part of?
Adam, I wish I knew. You know,
it's probably discretionary. As long as you're getting the checks, it don't matter.
How much money is Arkham Asylum pulling in? Who came up with? Where'd that appear first time?
That's old, isn't it? Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum is old, and you know, I don't know who created it, or I don't know how far back. Like,
yeah, DC I don't know.
Comics, that one's tough because it's a Lovecraft reference.
Well, so, they would still, you know, make
according to Wikipedia, it was Dennis O'Neil and Irv Novick.
Okay, Denny O'Neil is still getting checks for that then, and I don't know if Irv Novick's still alive. I imagine he's not. But his family would be. I mean, the thing about this is that, you know, if I were to die, you know, this money every quarter and every, you know, twice a year would still go to my estate. So my wife would still be getting paid for Iron Heights and Atrocitus and Larfleeze and all these characters that I created in perpetuity. Now, as for Jessica Cruz, the reason why I don't get anything for her is because she's Green Lantern. It sucks. But you can't just go, well, my character, I've got a guy named Bob Smith, and he's another Superman. So this is Superman. They would go, well, okay, thank you for that character, but he's a derivative of Superman, and so you don't own a stake in him. Now, you know, DC kind of realized, I reached out to DC and said, I know you guys are going to do something with Jessica Cruz, and I know she's going to end up in that little girl's Barbie line. So I want you guys to give me, you know, stake in. And they looked at it and they said, we can't do it, but we're going to cut you a big check anyway, just as a thank you. And it was good. You know, it was a substantial check. Yeah. You just have to go, hey, guys, that's fair.
And if they don't give you the money, at least make them feel bad. You're like, yeah, no, we're really shafting him on this one. We owe him one. That's all. You get it.
Yeah, I saw those little girl Barbies. What are they called? Super Girls or something like that? Or, you know, or DC Girls. And I just went, I know Jessica Cruz is going to end up in there because they need a Green Lantern. And so they're going to do it. And I was just like, I got to get on board this right away.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, that's kind of the way it works. And I think it's much more fair. I haven't seen a royalty check from Marvel Comics in 3 years. I haven't seen one. And I used to get one all the time. I'd get one once a year. It'd be about $150, you know, for new X-Men. I feel like, thank you. I'm going to invest this in DC Comics toys. You know what I mean? Like, but that was kind of it. You know, it's funny to see all this go down. So there are big changes that are going on at Marvel Comics, which is, even though people consider it to be the flashy kind of Corvette of the comic book industry, DC Comics is the family car. You know. The family car is the better place to be because the Corvette is broke. You know, it's like these guys are broke and they're not really taking care of people that work for them the way DC is.
Well, when talent think about their careers too, though, you know, it's great to get exposure at one of the major companies and then do your own thing, like Ethan did, or like Robert Kirkman very cleverly did with Marvel Zombies, and then, you know, being able to spin out and do Walking Dead, and he owned all of Walking Dead.
But is that still something that's good to do now? You know what I'm saying? With everything that's going on,
sounds like if it's for Marvel, definitely no. But if it's for DC and they have a high page rate, it's something to consider. Everybody's situation is unique, but career advice for talent is just that you want to look at, like, you know, you look at a few years ahead. You try to figure out, like, you have some of your own stuff. If you can get a big paycheck, you take a big paycheck. You know.
Yeah, I think that well, obviously, you know, spending 25 years drawing comic books in the mainstream has done immeasurable good for me. for a bunch of different reasons. I mean, you learn how to do it. You learn how to do it on a professional scale, and then also, of course, you have the opportunity to be seen. So a lot of people know my name, and a lot of people know my work, and they're more likely to look at my indie thing that I do. Rich Johnson today from Bleeding Cool.
Oh, this guy,
the ogre, or the hobbit, right?
Yeah, like Tug is fighting with him big time. Rich Johnson from Bleeding Cool today said one thing that I agree with. He just said, yeah, I think that every single A-list creator should be out doing independent comics. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's like getting your high school diploma and staying in high school. Like, what are you doing? It's like get out, go to college, or get out the job market. You've already gotten everything that you can from the mainstream. And spending any more time there when you're Greg Capullo or Scott Snyder or any of these big A-list guys, it's a waste of your time. Unless you really enjoy it and it's what you want to do, you're not going to make substantial money there.
Well, they know they're not going to do well. I mean, look at Freddie Prinze Jr. Have you seen his?
What do you mean?
Listen, have you seen his YouTube channel?
No.
He gets like 200 views on his videos, and he's Freddie Prinze Jr. You think Scott Snyder is going to? How are they going to do crowdfunding? The comic book names don't carry that far,
right?
You don't have the YouTube channel. You don't have the platform. Twitter is only going to take you so far. Not everybody gets lucky like that. Icarus and the Sun guy. Now, he have a shitload of Instagram followers.
Yeah, he's got a big social media following.
Yeah, and a webcomic and whatnot.
But Capullo put a book out in the 90s, didn't he? Like his own personal projects after Spawn.
Yeah.
Something. What the hell was that?
What was it called? It was about it was kind of a ghost book. I can't remember.
That was
Slasher type of thing.
Haunt was in the
Haunt.
Haunt.
What was a property that McFarlane did with Kirkman, I thought. But this is what makes it. See, I think what's missing, and I've been noticing this for a while, is like you've got a guy like Adam Hughes, for example, who's a great artist, but I guess he wrote some stuff for Archie, but I haven't seen much of his writing. So there's a writing piece that not everybody can kind of do both. But that's what you get from Comicsgate is you've got a mixture of talent, of people that can help each other. Mm-hmm. And I was just thanking everybody because College of the Dead came out. And I was thanking Von Klaus from Monster MD because he really gave me some great suggestions on changing up my description and changing the graphics in my description. Mm-hmm. And then there is Ethan, obviously, that was generous and got me on Comicsgate Live. There are a lot of other great guys that got me on Comicsgate. But then there are other people that gave me other advice and other feedback. And I know plenty about publishing and I know plenty about putting comics together. But you don't know everything. That's why for the guys that go off on their own, they're going to find that it's not just being on Ethan's show and pushing comics on Ethan's show. It's also the camaraderie. It's also the satisfaction. I was so thrilled to see pictures of my comics where people received my comics, just like CYBERFROG did a couple of weeks ago. And there are people that are really excited, customers that are really excited for me because they couldn't know me, but just excited to get the comic. I mean, that's such a satisfying feeling. Back in the day, it would just be like, all right, another book, you throw it on the shelf and then you put out more books next month. You don't have that connection. But the point is, like, a lot of those guys helped me too on a lot of channels. People make all kinds of suggestions to me, and I took a lot of them on. You can't do this as a one-man thing because when something goes wrong, who's going to be there to back you up when you're low? And then who's going to be there to take you higher when you're high?
Yeah.
All you guys' books succeed. I'm excited to see Wreck Planet 2 coming out. We're all invested in each other's lives and in each other's products. And with our customers are all invested in us too. And they're more than just customers. They're family. They're helping us make this thing happen. And not want to be part of this, to me, it just means that people have their own personal social issue. They don't want to socialize. When I was younger, I had issues with that. I kind of wanted to be off on myself and not work with a lot of other people directly. So the Comicsgate is about everybody pooling resources, but still owning your own stuff. It's like actually having friends and being in your own business, but people that know what it's like.
Yeah, but when I put out Doc Salem, I didn't expect all the help I got from you guys. It was crazy. People share everything you got, and It was crazy. It was great. I mean, I haven't experienced that until this point.
You feel welcome, which is encouraging.
Well, it was more than that. It was like a brotherhood. Like you just joined, you know.
Well, we haven't sexually abused you yet, like we have Sweens. That's
Well, I
coming up.
mean, Sweens.
I
I've experienced Sweens. Sweens has been. I think he deleted that video.
Oh yeah,
Good. Hey, Sweens, I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you to bed because I got Antonio here. I want to put Antonio back in here.
my bedtime anyway.
But thanks for being here, pal. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having me come in.
All right, take care, pal. All right, we're gonna let Antonio in here. Antonio was waiting in the waiting room, and I'm sitting there looking at Antonio like, okay, I think it's his turn. I got to get you in here. You know, that's my brother. Antonio, congratulations on all the success of Brand.
Oh, well, thank you. I was like, yeah.
I'm telling you, every time you send me Brand pages, I'm like in shock. I'm just like, oh my God, this book is going to be thunderous, dude. It's going to be huge.
Oh God, yeah. We've got 2 pages that I'm about to get within the next few hours, colors on them, because you know we're trying to get the print file ready.
Yeah.
Finally in that stage, which is awesome.
Are printed comics important, or should we go electronic and digital?
In Japan, they're selling print comics quite well.
Okay, so let's look at this conversation here between 2 YouTubers who have millions, literally millions of subscribers. Okay, and these guys are best friends. Both of these guys kind of spoke to me early on, and they kind of inspired me to start my own channel. We got Rob from Comics Explained and Benny from Comicstorian down here. Both of these guys, by the way, probably responsible. I love you guys, but you're killing the comic book industry. Okay, let me just point that out.
I really did. I thought Rob and Benny were in a secret love triangle together.
Well, quite possibly, but I mean, what these guys do is it's like, you know, the whole reason why I started buying comics as a kid was because I was curious. Like, I'd buy one comic and then I'd go, I need to know more. I need to know more about the Thing. I need to know more about the Human Torch. And so I was crazy. Like, I wanted to know all the answers to all these questions and read all these stories, which took money out of my pocket. That was the whole point. My little wallet was open because I needed to know about these stories. These 2 guys, all right, and they're hugely successful. Their channels are gigantic. These 2 guys sit there and show the comic books on their YouTube channels, and they tell you, they spoil all the stories. Now, I don't know, like, and like I said, I love these guys, but it's like the whole reason people buy comics, or is the information contained within them. You know, it's like you want to kind of go, I want to know more about Venom. What happened to Venom? Blah blah blah. Well, go buy the fucking comics.
Or no need.
Or no need.
Comics Explained.
Yeah,
Comics
and
Explained.
that's been my beef with him. It's like I can understand one thing, like if you want to explain the concept of the living tribunal, which is kind of a weird concept anyway, that's one thing. Taking an entire book and saying, yeah, this is exactly what happens in it. That's like, you're taking money off of somebody, or you're taking food off somebody's plate there.
And notice he doesn't get copyright strikes like someone does for just showing like 5 or 6 pages of the comic. He can show like full storylines, and Marvel flies him out to interview Tom Holland for the Spider-Man.
Comicstorian, I believe, is an actual Disney takes part of his money.
No, Comicstorian pays Disney.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Disney pays Comicstorian.
Yeah, there's an MCN that they're probably both a part of, because I can't remember the name of it, but it was the same one that Angry Joe was a part of when I was at Blistered Thumbs. Yeah, and Disney owns a stock.
Why are they paying them money? Like,
because they're sponsored. Like, maybe the idea is that these guys are going to get more people to be into the comics, but really not. There's no proof of that. What there's kind of proof of is that people who have questions about these storylines can easily and for free go to their YouTube channels and get those questions answered without paying anybody, without paying I mean, you know, what are we selling other than our stories, right? I mean, that's what Marvel has to sell. That's what we have to sell, or the stories that we came up with. And if you can just get the story told in like a dramatic voice by these guys, what are you doing? You get the information downloaded right into your brain. So here's Comics Explained, and he says, In the age of smartphones and tablets, I really don't understand why so much emphasis is put on keeping physical comic book stores alive.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with this dude?
So comic historian Benny says that's this, and by the way, these two disagreeing, this is crazy, says this screams out of touch with the community. I'm a huge advocate for the digital market. I'm not. And argued that stores need to adapt and we need to get them into more outlets, but I never said stop print. Print is the community, browsability, and the heart of the media. This is art. It deserves print.
Yeah, that's because Benny's out of business.
Yeah.
Printing comics.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, well, no, he isn't, because if it's digital. If it's digital, they're still going to tell the stories. That's kind of all they do.
But who's going to buy it? Like, there's no collector's value if you have a digital comic.
Well, there's not much collector's value either way right now.
Yeah. True, but even so, it's like, and digital's not even performing that well, mostly because the story's stuck.
Well, one person's going to download it, pay for it, and then he's going to share it with everybody.
Yeah, it's an easy gateway to piracy.
Yeah, there's going to be a site dedicated to giving away comics.
So, Ethan, wasn't there somebody on Twitter who even said, is like, oh, I can't find a pirated copy of CyberFrog anywhere?
Yeah.
I got it. I got it.
Fuck you.
To
Oh, great, thanks.
Somebody said in the comments of my review that they read a scan of it, so I think it does exist.
It's out there somewhere. Yeah, you know what I found? 4chaners, and I got 4chaners have never been all that kind to me. But there was a 4chan thread where somebody said, "Hey, Storytime Cyberfrog Bloodhoney," and the whole chat said, "Fuck you! We paid $25 for it. We're not giving it away to you for free." And I like that. I like that attitude.
It's called loyalty.
Yeah, well, it's also just like douchebag. Like, stop being a freeloader. We paid for it. Why should we give it to you for free? And that there's something to be said for that. But I mean, here's the thing about digital. I mean, honestly, if you can't sell it, you don't own it. And unless they're digitally selling like digital copies of these comics for like 99 cents, if there's some kind of a value, a savings that you get, why wouldn't you just buy the physical?
Yeah.
I don't get that at all, but at the same time, it's just, I'm like right in the middle of this argument. I want print to survive because I think printed comic books are what it's about. It's about creating a beautiful object that people can enjoy and be proud to own. My comics that I buy are like works of art. I buy these Fantastic Four books from the 1960s, and they just look beautiful to me, and I want to display them.
Kirby is king.
Yeah,
oh my God,
got those too.
You wouldn't take your Fantastic Fours from the Kirby era and say, okay, I'm going to just put I'll sell them or throw them away and just look at my digital scans.
Yeah,
I know somebody who sold his whole collection to go digital when digital was at its height, and he regretted it. Like,
yeah, that's dumb shit to do.
Yeah,
what the fuck is the logic in that?
Yeah, it's craziness, is what it is.
Yeah,
I have following the crowd.
I have an original printing of the first issue of Venom Lethal Protector, and that's never being sold, first and foremost, even if I get Michelini to sign it. But on top of that, it's like, you can have, like, the only purpose that digital really serves is if you travel a lot and you don't want to bring something physical with you all the time. You can just read it on your Kindle. Because I have Lethal Protector digital too. It's like it's good as a backup, but that's about it. You can't really base your whole market on it on something that's meant to be in a printed medium.
I like it for back. I mean, I spend a lot of time on the Shonen Jump app, which it literally it's $2 a month, and I get like every single piece of manga that's ever been existed for Shonen Jump. I read a lot of stuff on there. I would do the same with the other ones, but I would still buy print.
Yeah, but
that's
Chinese
a good deal. I like.
I'm the same way with Berserk.
Yeah, these digital like subscription programs where it's like it's almost like read all you want for like $20 a month. I think that makes sense. You can go.
Amazon does that with Comixology.
Yeah, I think they should do subscriptions for all the new comics and stuff. I mean, that's an idea that I don't know why they don't do, but.
Well, somebody said to me
they do digital, like on Comixology. That
was the old ones.
Well, no, for new stuff too. You can subscribe to it, kind of like a poll list, like a digital poll list.
Yeah, somebody said to me, somebody's like, Comicsgate. They're like, you've got to get CyberFrog to the point where you're publishing 4 times a year and you have a subscription service. And that is the future. Like, that's where you should be. Like, people should just be able to go, you know what? CyberFrog number 3 is coming to my house and I don't have to worry about it. It's coming at this point in time. And I'm like, damn it, dude, that is like serious. That's like buckling down and like being old school subscription service, making sure the books are done on time and getting them out to people that quickly. Can you imagine building something like that?
But that would be awesome. It would be phenomenal.
It's very doable to get on production schedules and to get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to make a decision up front what the book is going to be. You can't be selling extra pages for hitting another tier like as a reward, because it throws off the story, throws off all the production planning. When one book is late, then all the subsequent books are late.
You could probably pull it off with a house style and like having a group of artists that were like.
You can have a studio, and then you're managing a studio, which is a beautiful. I had a studio we had it for about 2 years. We had Personality Comics. We had like 20 artists in there. Adam Polina was in that studio for a while. A few other guys you might know. It was awesome. It was an incredible vibe. It was a great feeling. Jim Shooter visited us once. He's like, "Hey, this feels like Valiant." It was after he left Valiant. Yeah. What a great feeling. But it's hard to run a whole studio. I happened to have somebody who had experience doing it. Was incredibly lucky that I fell into that. But there's stuff out there for us. I was looking at Shopify, the website, and Shopify will help you run a web store and will help you with discounts on shipping. They can do all sorts of stuff with promotion. So we just kind of need to start to build resources as time goes along. But in terms of producing books on a regular basis, something like CyberFrog, for example, you would set a goal to at least get, you don't have to go from once a year to quarterly. You go from once a year to say twice a year, because it's free. So you put a 6-month turnaround on from now till whenever. You look at the dates and kind of just schedule it out and just, you do that. I was thinking for other properties, because you have such a great distribution channel, Ethan, you might look at something like partnering with another creative team on another property, like a Rainbow Brood or Fearsome or whatever it might be.
Everyone says that. I'm telling you, it's going to be tricky. I hate the idea of employing people, because here's the problem. Like, first of all, I'll employ Kyle Ritter because he's coloring my work, and that's like something. But saying, you know what, like, I own this IP and I'm going to pay you to do it. That is what I'm rebelling against. It's that kind of indentured servitude, of the big two, that it's like, now I'm no better than them. Like, everything really does need to come from me. And if somebody else comes to work for All Caps Comics, it has to be their thing. Like, I would publish Starblades, and I would just be like, you know what, pay for the printing costs and everything like that. Put my banner on it, but it's yours. I don't really want any money from anybody for work that didn't come from my hands. But I would like to build a banner and a kind of publishing house where people could come, and publish books where I'm proud of them, where I think they're great. And it's like, Starblades is so good. Like, if Kyle said, I want to publish under All Caps, I'd be like, let's make it happen.
But what also is fair about that is that they can at least add some personality to your channel and your audience, so that people know, like, look, at least you have an understanding, like, look, we're going to publish your book on All Caps, but we want you to be able to be on YouTube too, and like help build the family and, bring some audience and some excitement to your work, be passionate about your work. So it's not just you. Like, if I was to bring you College of Dead, it would just be like, all right, Ethan, you sell it, goodbye. It's not like it's like they come on, they can sell their thing, talk passionately about their thing.
Cruder Quotient goes, so work on Fearsome is indentured servitude. Yeah, kind of it is. I got to figure out a way to get Caanan to get to share in it somehow, so it's his, and it makes me really uncomfortable. The whole thing, like, I don't necessarily want to give up rights for something that I created, and I also don't want to sit there and like make somebody invest their own time in something that I own.
Well, I'll give you an example. I've always been self-employed, and forever. Well, I worked at a cookie store. After that, I ate a lot of cookies, but even always self-employed. But I do take paid work to do stuff. I have a business-to-business telemarketing company. It's my normal pay the bills kind of thing. And I do their work on a flat fee basis, and it's steady cash flow, so I can do what I want to do with my time, and I can do comics now. Some people want paid work, so it's not, you have a good mutual relationship and you treat people incredibly fairly, and also say, hey, when you have IP, you've got an open door because we've got a relationship. And here's what that relationship would look like.
Yeah.
So when a fair page rate is X and you're paying X plus additional because they're going to come and help promote and party with the, you have to just kind of talk it through and think it through, and also talk to some other people have overcome this without being so super exploitive.
By the way, this guy named Wyatt Safran who's in the chat who's really upset because he hasn't gotten his books yet. Wyatt, do me a favor, send me an email to Ethan, ETHAN12032 @gmail.com. That's Ethan, ETHAN12032 @gmail.com. With your address, if you're comfortable with that. And tomorrow I'm going to ship you out one of each book. Okay, just for you. I hear what you're saying. I know you're like really in pain about missing the comics so far. I'd like to ship them to you overnight. Well, overnight. It'd be Saturday, so you won't get them till Monday. But I'll ship them overnight. And much love to you, man. I see fans who are like, I don't have my books yet, and I'm freaking out. And it's like, God, like, hurry up. It is important to me. I see you talking, and I feel like it's a pang in my heart. So please do that, and know that I love you, and I'm sorry that you're having to wait. And look, 1998 is coming, folks. Here is Salem Android, on the dock of Philly, kind of Philly docks here, and he's finding out about the thing that he knows about in BLOODHONEY. This takes place on August 17th. This is right before he meets up with CYBERFROG, and he finds out from Shockroach.
Shockroach, I love that. Love it.
Shockroach is from the original CYBERFROG series.
I used to have roaches. It was not pleasant.
Oh, dude, and this guy's such a bitch. Like, I hate Shockroach.
You're bringing back Traumadeus too. I love it.
I'm bringing back Traumadeus.
I love that concept.
Traumadeus.
All of the old villains from the original CYBERFROG series, I'm rethinking and re-putting out. By the way, here's what Salamandroid does when he gets angry. That CYBERFROG is, like, hey, chill. He breathes purple fire.
That's awesome. Like
I love Salamandroid. He's so cool. And CYBERFROG and Traumadeus. Terry, stop typing. Stop typing.
Did the new Godzilla movie actually influence you just a little bit?
No, I've always
like
Salamandroid has been around for absolutely ever, and I always thought he kind of breathed fire, but I never had a chance to show it because, I never really got to do a deep dive on the character. He only appeared in like maybe 2 or 3 issues of CYBERFROG, and then now, so it's like he exists and he's important, and it's time to really focus on who he is and what he can do. And he's not hooked up to Chelsin, and if he was, like, cool things would happen. So just hang out. I'm so excited about all of this. Like, it's just so great. It's so cool. And I want anybody who's sitting there, like, sitting at home going, I want to be a part of this. I'm waiting for this. And they don't have it yet. That just drives me insane. So,
well, Ethan, there's something I've been wanting to ask you. Could you actually illustrate me in the book as someone who is dating Chelsin? I've always
you want to date Chelsin? I mean, she's a robot.
I know she's artificial intelligence and all that, but I just find her intriguing, especially after I read BLOODHONEY and
like Electro Roach too, or
I think she can grow some parts and we can make something happen there.
Yeah. No, I won't. I won't do that. I won't. I respect you both. But you're not meant for each other. I don't think that either of you are one another's happily ever after, and so therefore, I probably won't do that. But I would draw you in CyberFrog. Wrecked Planet. We're gonna meet a whole bunch of more survivors and stuff like that, and I want to have a couple more familiar faces in there. It just makes people happy when they're in the book.
I like seeing Tristan in there. That was cool.
Yeah, Tristan was cool. By the way, guys, in the chat, I want to apologize if anyone found themselves blocked on this channel. It wasn't me, and I will tell you, guys with wrenches, please don't block anyone. I mean, seriously, like, blocking, if somebody acts up and they're like, even if they're cracking on me and saying like bad stuff, like you really do have to kind of give them the benefit of a doubt, unless they're saying like really like anti-Semitic, dangerous things to the channel. And I have to emphasize this all the time. Don't worry about my feelings. Don't worry about any of that. These people are allowed to participate. And I don't care if they're here to make fun of me. I just want them here. So I went through today and earlier this morning, I went through and looked at all the block list. And I'm like, I didn't block any of these people. Well, I blocked this one. Fuck you. But I didn't, most of these people I didn't block. So I just went through and just kind of unblocked a whole ton of people that,
I'm still blocked either.
Even some nuisances I unblocked, if you know what I mean. But for the most part, I don't want people blocked. I don't think that's the right thing to do around here. It's just not the right spirit of the channel. And I am a magnet for people, cracking on me and criticizing me. That's kind of what I'm here for. So they're allowed to do that, and don't worry about my feelings. All right, let me read some super chats. Great Loner, thanks for $5. He said, question, you said you'd be making a CyberFrog anime. Would that be an adaptation of Bloodhoney or a new storyline? So I want it to be an adaptation of CyberFrog Season 1. So it would be Bloodhoney, it would be Wreck Planet, Red Extermination, and Green Supremacy. All 4 books together into one 90-minute animated film. That's what I'm hoping for, and we can make that happen. It's not really hard. You can force these things to happen. You don't have to wait for Hollywood or Netflix to come calling. You can actually do it yourself. So that's what we're gonna do. Corey Legend says at Sweens, that Donald print is effing nice, boy, bro. Sweens is not here anymore. Zaid says 1 hour to back Magic Cop E. Thanks for everything. I hope you're doing good. I hope the Magic Cop does well. Christopher Arcella says, speaking of Jean Grey, have you gotten the statue yet? I will be bugging you about it. LOL. I want you to have it so bad. Oh, Christopher, I still have not gone to the post office. I'm going to go. I'm going to go tomorrow. Christopher Stanley says, horrible, E. Gross. Addis919 says, Scott is showing dominance over Wolverine by petting his belly. Ian says, could you legally sell Green Lantern art like Miller Injustice? Yeah. But the thing about it is that first of all, I don't have any. I sold it all like immediately. My original art from DC was a big part of my income, so I got rid of it as soon as I could. I didn't keep any of it, except for like one page that Andrea kept. And I just find it's like looking backwards. I saw Mike is selling his original art as a tier on his Indiegogo, and that made me rub my temples a little bit. I don't want to look backwards. I have been born again. I'm resurrected as a new human being. It's like, yeah, the old me worked on at DC. I don't want to look back too much. I want to kind of look forward to what we're doing. And so the only original art that I would ever sell on an Indiegogo platform is CyberFrog art. We're moving from here.
I'm mystified by that. I'm sorry. Like I'm not an artist. I can't draw a straight line, but selling your original art from the old days when you could auction that off for a much higher price.
Well, yeah, that's what eBay's for. I don't really know why people are using Indiegogo for that when you could just sit there and do eBay, because you're going to do better on eBay. And not only that, eBay takes 10%.
Yeah.
Indiegogo takes 5%. That's something to think about. I don't know.
And you could do like a monthly stream like you do on here and still probably rake in a much higher price, I would think.
Yeah.
What I've noticed from the outside. Again, I'm a writer. I'm never going to know.
Yeah, I have pages from CyberFrog Bloodhoney, and obviously the pages from CyberFrog 1998. I don't know. They're not sold. I don't have a home for them yet. So, I'm going to probably sell them, and I don't really know how yet at this point. But maybe in an auction stream or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I could legally do it, to answer your question. The artwork belongs to me, and I have the right to sell the original artwork. Shawnee7488 says the porn costume looks better than the real one. That's for Captain Marvel. Chris Stanley says, for the love of God, no. John Talk says, for the love of everything good, stop. And I think that was me zooming in on
Yeah.
Yeah. Optimus Deadful says Robotoad and Iguanatron wouldn't treat their fans like this. Say no to Chelsea Van Valkenburg. Yeah. Oh my God, she's gross. Let's see. Mark C for $10. Thank you. Says Quesada had Marvel ditch the comics code. It seemed antiquated, but it served the function of keeping the comics consistent. It kept artwork like Sentry ripping Ares in half on panel from happening.
I hated that. I was an Ares fan. I thought he was a badass.
Yeah. Yeah, the comics code was an agreed upon kind of thing. It wasn't legal, but it was something that everybody kind of understood. There's certain limits to what you want to do, what you want to be able to do in these mainstream comics. But it was a relic of the past, so I don't know.
It was really when kids were buying comics.
Yeah, sure. And we're not. I mean, it's not. Kids aren't buying comics. They can't.
Yeah, not on newsstands.
Have you read any of the modern comics? I mean, the stories they're putting out aren't kid friendly at all.
Yeah,
they're not for anybody except for like gender studies majors.
Yeah. And plus, now they got Wolverine looking at Cyclops like he's a piece of meat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Still think you guys are reading a little too much into that.
I don't know. I seen that promo.
It's going down, baby.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's absolutely right. Corey Legend says, any opinion on Dave Raposa saying he's going to do covers for Marvel? I told him he doesn't need the pay cut. Who's Dave Raposa? Does anybody know?
Dave Raposa.
I like Micah because he does the research real quick.
I am here for that sort of thing. Dave Raposa. No, but I didn't come up with anything.
Oh. So. Yeah. I don't know. I would do covers for Marvel if I were Dave Raposa, whoever he is. If you want to do it. Mark C says, back the Allegiance Comics bundle. Mitch and Betty are only at 95% and should be sitting at 6 figures. Wow, let me see this. I'm a big fan of the Bright Wisers.
Yeah, I had Kelsey on earlier and we had a really good talk. So yeah.
I had this conversation with Mitch, like I said, I remember walking around a BJ's wholesaler and talking to Mitch about this. He said, I'm going to do these 3 comic books in one campaign. And I said, I just don't know if that's the best idea. I think you should really break them up. He said, no, this is the company bundle. And I get, it's like these books are all so good. They really deserve to be individually appreciated. And, when you do it this way, they can't be. They just seem like, here are some choices.
It seems like a single anthology, and it's not clear what's being sold. It was the same problem with the Meg. What are you selling? This is beautiful work. And Kelsey's work is fantastic.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
But still, it is. You look at it, and it's like you want to consume it and understand and comprehend it immediately, and make a buying decision. Be like, yeah, Nora's whatever that is. That's cool. $25, whatever you want, no problem.
Yeah.
But, no, it's part of this, and then I got to buy this with this and that, and it's like, well, it's this, but you're going to save on shipping, and it's like, well, it's too much already.
It's sort of like they're selling you on a company, not necessarily just the comics.
Which would be fine if it was like some really well thought out universe, maybe, or something like that, like back in the day, and it was continuity.
But these are all like 3 self-contained stories. Good as they look. I really want to read Bass Reeves, or or however it's pronounced. Mostly because Kevin Graveau is awesome.
Even when we would launch universes back in the day in the early 90s, you kind of would start with one title.
Yeah, and then move into it. That's how I'm doing it, yeah.
Yeah, and then you spin off another, you spin out another, you introduce them in each other's, if that's the way that this is. But yeah, it's rough. But they look like beautiful books. They really do.
Yeah. And speaking of universes, Ethan, Preston, and I have something to show you that you're gonna dig.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Don't start with me, Preston. Jesus. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
By the way, I just sent Umbrella Guy a link. Come on in, Tug, if you want to. We'd love to have you. What is it?
All right. So, I think that Preston has not gotten to talk about Doc Salem yet.
Oh, that's fine. Let's keep it going.
All right. So we'll go with this. So Preston actually, I think around the time I started Englewood's campaign, he approached me just wondering if I was doing anything off, like if I had anything on the back burner. And I originally had 2 books planned, and one of them has now we'll be doing. He and I will be doing, but later on. But with Englewood, that's the start. Like Adam was saying, the start of a new universe. and several heroes that I have planned. Next year, I'm going to do, or at least planning to do, 4 books, one each season, probably each about 80, 90 pages, something like that. So, but one of these, share my screen here, is a book that is called 3 Nights, 4 Days. This is this book will be set in the Middle Ages, right after the Second Crusade. And basic idea is 3 crusaders from 3 different orders come home to England and have found that a portal to hell has been opened outside of a small town. And Preston and I have been working on this together for a little bit now. We're gonna do the we're gonna do the full campaign. Yeah, we're working ahead on this one. This campaign will probably be out like early next year.
Never show the roughs if you're going to try and promote a comic.
Well, no, you can kind of, if you see the roughs here, and then you'll see how they start coming together. Like this.
Wow, great.
Yeah, yeah. So it's my next book. You know, it's gonna be awesome, and it's starting. This is a prelude to another book I'm doing that'll introduce a new super team called Project Lazarus. Basically, you know, I'm doing kind of old school, you know, Claremont stuff like Excalibur, his X-Men run, but also with like a little bit of kind of a darker stuff like Warren Ellis inspired work. So yeah, I got good stuff in the pipe, my friend. So
looks good, man. And also, I want to point out, you know, the actual other book that's available right now, which is Doc Salem Monster Hunter by Preston Acevedo, not Preston Poulter.
Yeah,
this is good, Preston.
I was thinking about making up a handle or something like that.
Yeah.
Changing my name.
Well, I mean, you know, it's Preston.
Well, it's such a rare name, and somebody finally takes it.
It's like you're the second Preston, you know, around Comicsgate. But no, you're really the first, though. You're the first Preston. He's the second. Now, let me just show this here and see. Do I need audio for this?
You can put audio.
Is there music? Okay.
It took me a while to get this down, like a day.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me go back. You know, you have to hit the audio button, you know, for this if you want people to hear it. Let's see. Boom. Boom. There we go. This will work. Sorry about that, Preston. All right.
It's fine. You're good. Hello, my name is Preston Acevedo, Valiant Comics cover artist and contributing artist on Handheld Press's Golden Age revival titles, Jungle Comics and Planet Comics. I'm also the creator of Doc Salem, Monster Hunter. Doc Salem is a 48-page full-color graphic novel that reimagines the world of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Doc Salem is the story of Victor von Frankenstein as he endures life-threatening wounds inflicted by his very own creation. His trusty assistant Igor injects him with the elixir of life, which puts him in a state of suspended animation. When he finally awakens, decades have passed and times have changed. The world that he once knew long gone, and the tables have turned. Monsters have emerged from the shadows and taken over. Victor finds that he has a wanted man for crimes against humanity. Due to the devastation his monster had wrought, Victor assumes the guise of Doc Salem to make amends for his transgressions and hunt down rogue monsters. Doc Salem brings you a fresh new look inside the world of classic monsters and Lovecraftian mayhem. So please support this project and join Doc Salem.
What a great design.
To the world, one character?
Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
He looks great, man. Good job.
Thanks.
All right, let's see.
He's better than Englewood. He's better than Englewood.
Hey.
Brian. He kills Brian. Brian's not, can't hold the camera.
Great looking character, brother. Great looking character. I appreciate it.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, so I wanted to show let's hold on a second here. A couple more campaigns, and then we're gonna get right back to this. I want to show Futurists, and let's just see how far away are we from getting where we need to be. Futurist, Nora's Saga, Bass Reeves. 23,700. Okay, 23,795. So we're pretty close. We need another $1,205. Let's see if we can push that. But they've got another month to go. I think they're going to hit 6 figures, don't you, or don't you?
I would say that I would say probably 70 grand at the least.
70 grand. Okay.
I think it's just because the season, like this just seems to be the slow season.
Yeah.
Like that's part of the reason that I'm doing my next book like next year instead of now. So.
Yeah. I mentioned Mike S. Miller today, Lone Star Heart of the Hero. And I said, hey, here's the link on Twitter. He's been stuck. Like he's not at 5 figures yet. Let me see if I did anything for him. No. I like to hit that refresh and just see what happens.
You have the pipeline while we're at it.
I don't, he's got 9 books to do, man. He's got to do, he's got to.
He had 9 covers. He's got some named people doing covers.
Yeah.
They look like it's nice. Looks nice. You got Kyle Ritter to do a cover?
Yeah, the Kyle Ritter cover is beautiful. I mean, I would just do a campaign and just say, here's the, no offense to everyone else here, but it's like, just do the one. You don't need to do 9.
Also, you have to call it a second printing. You can just say it's a Kyle Ritter cover edition. Boom.
Sure. There are a lot of, there's so many things I'd like to criticize.
Yeah, I'm kind of biting my tongue on one that's coming to mind right now. So
yeah, all right. Well, but it's nice to talk about it, and if people are interested and they buy it, that's great.
Yeah, I wanna. Yeah.
Doc Salem's better than Lone Star. I'm just saying. Just throwing that out there. That's all I'm doing.
See, there are certain people who don't appreciate that kind of trash talk. It's like in Comicsgate or outside of Comicsgate. Like nobody has a sense of humor, and nobody can deal with that. But yeah. I agree with you. Okay.
I was gonna say, it's like, why does this character look like he's Captain Cummings cosplaying as himself?
That's true. All right, so we got. Also, I want to talk about Jawbreaker's God King. I mean, this is the thing I'm doing a cover for right now, and then obviously, yes, we got him to 227. Obviously, if you haven't backed this one yet, do it. I'm going to finish up this cover tonight. Kyle's going to get it. He's going to color it, and it's it's going to be pretty exciting. Hopefully, it'll give this campaign a new little push, and that'll be great. And let's see, Oddity, of course, Sweens. He's in the description as well. I would love it if you guys would back this, and people haven't yet. Let's get this to 12,000 if possible. As for me,
we have a jam cover with Ethan and Sweens, the artist.
Yeah, no, we are doing that. I mean, I gotta, I just have to draw a CYBERFROG. He's done a little layout for me, but I got to do Vestige first. CYBERFROG BLOODHONEY limited edition line art variants are available, of course, and then still, wow, Ethan Van Sciver's Vampirella #1 red foil variant. These are on the way. They're going to print, I think, next week, so everybody's going to start getting these.
I got the fist bump line art variant. I couldn't pass that up. It was pretty bad.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So let me see. Let me get back to super chats real quick here. Let's see. Chris Stanley said, had to love this shit. And he gives me another $5. El Gargoyle says, did you see that video Jeff Lafferty made of you? Who's Jeff Lafferty?
He's got his book's still on Indiegogo. Actually, I was on his channel last year, about October, I think. Mm-hmm. He used to do like Doom 2099 at Marvel.
Did he make a bad video about me or a good video?
He's one of the formers, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He used to.
Berserker, I think.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Oh, that guy. No, yeah, he was always like right on the edge. I remember seeing his videos early on, and he was drawing this Berserker Knots thing, and he was running down like me. He was running down Comicsgate, and then suddenly he showed up and he said, "I changed my mind. I like Comicsgate, and I like you." And I said, "Okay." And I had him on my channel once or twice, maybe, and he just wasn't. I mean, he wasn't that interesting. We had bigger personalities and stuff. So I guess Jeff Lafferty fell down the memory hole, and now he's making videos. I can't say it's good. I haven't watched the video. I assume it's a bad video. And what are you gonna do, man? Everybody makes videos about me right now.
I know he jumped out there. What was it, the Mindy Wheeler thing when that happened, and then he was she's run out of. He had old videos. Then I was like, okay.
Yeah, but he worked on Doom 2099, so.
Well, yeah.
Come on, that's.
I actually enjoyed Doom 2099. A lot of those 2099.
Yeah, it had a great story.
Cool.
Hey, Tug, what's up? Good evening, Tug.
Good evening.
Hey there. Hey, I boomered it up, man. I muted my mic for a minute.
Yeah. I'm glad I checked in. I was like, I wonder if anybody's waiting in the waiting room. Boom, there you are.
Yeah. I noticed the invite, man. What's the theme tonight?
The theme is Marvel Comics Joe Quesada demotion. A whole lot of emotion. Or we could have just called this sweet demotion. You know, that would have been.
Hey, that's beautiful, actually. I like that.
Yeah.
You couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Yeah. Do you are you excited about Joe Quesada's demotion? What do you think this portends for the future?
I'm excited just because it happened to Joe Quesada and he deserved it. But
hell yeah, brother.
The future, no, it doesn't mean anything. I remember Joe Quesada. What really sticks with me, I remember him going after you and going after DNC, but I also remember him telling Yellow Flash he wasn't the right kind of customer. He's told you, he said, you have customers like this guy, and he actually showed Yellow Flash he's the wrong kind of customer. So
yeah, what does that even mean? Like the wrong kind of customer?
He prefers his customers to dox people.
Yeah.
Jesus
well,
Christ.
me and Tug had kind of a thing today because Tug's like, yo, man, do you see Rich Johnson talking about you today? And I was like, what is going on? You got so excited. It's like, look at this. We're gonna have a big
man. I spend all day like I hang bait out. You know, I'm all right at it. I mean, today, man, I've driven people crazy today. But I got Joe Quesada. Then the trademark came in today. They actually figured out that was real. So it's been interesting.
So what's up with that? So the trademark came in. Now you're going to jail. That's what they're saying.
Now I'm going to jail, even though their own lawyers are telling. They're like, Doug is going to jail, aren't they? And then let me explain to. So if people haven't heard, I had an idea for a company. I thought, what goes really good with the GOP and Donald Trump, the NRA. Renfamous. Doesn't that sound like a good name there? So it just came to me out of the blue. So yeah, I figured out to trademark it. So I went and checked to see if there was any company name like that. And I thought, what would even be better is if it made comic related products, because there's nobody that's ever trademarked that name. So
no.
Yeah, I tried it. And apparently somebody out there thinks they own it. So I mean, they can oppose it, but instead of opposing it, they went crazy. Everybody was telling me I'm going to jail today, even though they would tag in Twitter lawyers and they'd be like, nah, that's probably, they're not going to do anything. You can oppose it though, but
I'll send you money, Tug.
Yeah, like if you need it, we'll start up a crowdfund for your legal defense. But I don't think you're going to need it. I mean, the thing about it is that you can see a word somewhere, you can see a name, somebody's name, you can see anything, and as long as they're not monetizing it in some way to make money, to make products or anything like that, you can choose to copyright that first, and then you can trademark it onto mugs, t-shirts. I mean,
the only way, like if you file it and say it was in use before or something, but if you file a new claim to it, it doesn't matter. You can go in and see. And again, a pen name is not a commerce. It's not a mark for commerce. So, like I said, they
classification.
Now 1/2 of trademarks are rejected straight up the gate. So maybe I sloppily did. I don't care. I've made more money like laughing at these people. I figured this thing out. See, I call it retailing. You basically piss these people off and they get so upset. If we were to advertise on Twitter, it costs per impression, it costs 50 cents to $4 per impression. That's what they charge. Today I got on one post, I got 1,860 impressions, or I got about somewhere between $900 to $8,000 in what would have cost me if I advertised with Twitter, and they did it for free. So, hey.
Yeah. I have to say, you're getting it right. You are crushing it, and people should admire your example. I certainly do. I think it's funny as hell, and good for you. I think everybody crying about it, and these people have no sense of the law at all. The idea that you committed perjury and you're going to jail by filing for a copyright is so goddamn stupid. And I watch these people and shake my head like that's not the way to go about this, guys. But good for you. You did trigger them, and I'm impressed with you. The other thing is somehow you stumbled on Rich Johnson explaining that I terrorized a DC Comics employee in private messages.
Well, see, they've been trying to spin this. Okay, so yesterday I was talking about some D&Q drama. I was like, screw certain people that are attached to it. And I said, maybe, just maybe certain people out there, maybe they didn't get fired because of persecution. Maybe they got fired because they were shitty people. And, these people, the SJWs were like, he's talking about Ethan. I'm like, it says their names above it, dipshits. But Rich Johnston wandered in. And he was like, well, actually, Ethan Van Sciver has been an asshole, basically. It was like he's such an asshole that you felt the need to write an article about how he's not a Nazi. I mean,
Well, I mean, the thing about it is that again, this is the way the blacklist works. What they do is, of course, you can just go back in time and look at the confluence of efforts, and they were all political. To blacklist me from mainstream comics. You can see it all happening. Sorry, African American list me from comics. you can see it all happen. You can see the weirdness. You can see the efforts on behalf of people like Rich Johnson. And today, now that like the smoke is cleared, and now that people are starting to look at them funny, they all say the same things. They go, this guy wasn't blacklisted because of his politics. He was blacklisted for being a shitty person. Well, who gets to decide who's a shitty person? Because all of y'all are shitty people over there. I mean, what do you think Comicsgate was about? It was about, customers pointing the finger at these people in power and saying, stop, you guys are terrible. You guys are dickheads. And these people all still have their jobs. And these people all still are committing these acts of whisper network, cancel culture bullshit. They decide they are gatekeepers, and they get to decide who the shitty people are. And coincidentally, these shitty people are all people who are Trump supporters. We saw it happen with the Brightwisers. We saw it happen with Chuck Dixon. We saw it happen with me. Now, what Rich Johnson is saying, and he said this to me in private too. We were doing this kind of interview, which, by the way, he's like, "Can I just interview you?" And I said, "Sure." And he never ran the interview. I sent that interview to your boy Zach, and he said, "You sound like fucking George Washington of Comicsgate." No wonder he didn't run the interview. And I'm thinking about running it at some point. Like, he made all kinds of excuses about it. Like, I won't. It's just too hard to edit. Okay. But in the midst of that, he said, "Do it." He said the problem was, he's like, what happened to you is Sam Humphries, who was a collaborator of mine, who worked on Green Lanterns. He wrote Green Lanterns, and they used to come to me and ask me for designs and help on a book I didn't even work on. And then he also scripted Dawnbreaker, the Batman Metal Dawnbreaker, that I drew and plotted, and he scripted it. And we had an okay relationship as far as I knew. Now, on the day of the election, like right before the election, Sam Humphries was tweeting all these photographs of himself talking into a banana, going, "I'm calling all the Hillary supporters and just reminding people to get out to vote." All these like fucking weird photos. And I was fully aware. I was like, yeah, these guys are gonna win, et cetera, et cetera. So when I woke up the next morning and Trump had won, of course I was overjoyed. Sam Humphries was pissed, and because we worked together, I wrote him a little message in a DM, and I said, "Hey, brother," I said, "I know you're probably feeling down right now. I felt horrible when Mitt Romney won, or when Mitt Romney lost. I felt awful, so I know how you feel. But this is the way the country moves forward. It's like left foot, right foot, left foot. This is how it goes. It's like
people didn't want to hear that.
Yeah, one party can't stay in power for too long." And so I wrote that. I said, "Just want you, want to let you know I love you." And sorry about that. And he never responded to the email. Now or the private message. Now, I had a similar conversation with a few other creative people who wrote me back and said, "Hey, your guy won. You should be happy." It was really like kind of mature adults, but Sam never did. Now, what Rich Johnson told me in the middle of this email was, he goes, Sam Humphries took a private message you sent him and showed it around to all the writers at DC Comics, and they all decided they never want to work with you again. And he started that. That was him.
Jesus.
And I said, what did he show him? He said, some DM you sent him on election day. And I was like, did you see the DM that I sent? And he said something about you calling Hillary a cunt. Now, I don't use that. You just heard me say that word. I do not use that word in anger. I use that word just to describe that word.
I use that word on dates.
I don't. So I don't use that word. I find it to be an ugly word.
I use it when I stub my toe. Gosh.
I used it during my divorce.
Rich Johnson is so full of shit anyway. When I first started my channel, I was doing some charity stuff around here. I'd gotten some comics. I was like, dude, this was early on before you realize what kind of repugnant piece of shit he is. And, I hit him up. I was like, hey, can I get some advertisement here? And he contacted me back, and, I had explained it in the email, and he said, yeah, I'd ask you more about it, but yeah, it doesn't sound like it's worth my time. I was like, what a piece of shit.
Yeah. So, no, I've had my run-ins with him, and it's the same dance every fucking time. It's like, look, you're selling me a story, and I'm telling you from the perspective of the audience, where's the proof? Where's the message? Where is the evidence that this was said?
Presumably a lot of people have it. Now, I went into my DMs, Micah, and I was like, well, I have it then, right? Because we had this conversation. Now, I looked it up and I could not find it. I could not find my interaction with him. And I was like, well, maybe he left Twitter. So I looked him up, and he has a new Twitter address. So he canceled his old one. So all those messages don't exist anymore. But he has his new one. So I hit him up. I hit him up in private again. And I sent him a private message today, which said the following. Let me find it real quick here. Did he respond yet? No, he's never going to respond to me.
It's like society just became mentally disabled after Trump.
It's ridiculous. I said, hey, Sam, could you possibly forward me the messages that I sent you that were, according to Rich Johnson, incredibly offensive, please? I can't seem to find them. Seems like the old Twitter is gone. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so.
Well, and that's the corner that Rich always paints himself into and tries to weasel his way out of, is he makes these claims about, your time at DC or Chuck's time at Marvel or what have you, and then when it comes to actually giving you something, this person said, no. If you couldn't admit, if that's not admit, that wouldn't work in a court of law. I work in insurance; it wouldn't work there either. You have to give me something to go off of, or else it's just he said, she said, and then you don't know anything. I'm inclined to believe you just because you and I have been friends for a while. But. As it stands, it's as the reader, how do you just believe that? He's trying to play off of other people's biases to get them to shit on you on Twitter. It's fucking stupid.
Here are the two options, Micah. The two options are either my peers at DC Comics, my fellow writers, because DC did come to me and say, there's a group of writers that work here that refuse to work with you ever again. And I was like, why? What did I do? And this is why. So either this message about me saying right foot, left foot was passed around, and it was so offensive that people didn't want to work with me anymore because they were that ass mad about Trump's victory, or a fake message was concocted in which I called Hillary the C word, and that was passed around. So which do you think is more likely at this point?
I think that if you had actually done that, it would have been all over the comics news.
It would have been everywhere, right?
Yeah, especially when CYBERFROG hit Indiegogo, that would have been everywhere. I know that if I
before that, but when they were tar and feathering Nazi all over you, they would have that would have been everywhere.
That would have gotten blasted unless they knew it was kind of. I don't know. I can't look into their heads, but
it could have been both. The whole premise is ridiculous because anyone who was pro-Trump, and I was one of those people. When he had won that next morning, we were just feeling no pain. We were deliriously happy. We didn't care about Hillary. We thought she was going to jail.
I was on the floor laughing.
Yeah.
I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
We weren't out to say anything derogatory about anybody.
Yeah. That's just ridiculous. Seriously, I was celebrating. I felt pretty good about life.
We all did, because it was like a miracle to think like, oh my God, we have a chance that the country might go in a different country.
No, let's actually be genuine about it. It's because a bunch of excuse the wording, but chuckle fucks, they got out there and they said, "Oh, we're gonna win, we're gonna bury you," and they look like morons in the morning.
I love that term, chuckle fuck.
I mean, we all felt good there.
Your memory of that email, though, it does sound like one thing that they hate, like with a passion, and that's mansplaining. It sounds like you were like, look, 1 foot in front of each other, things are going to be fine. And like, that's just sensible, normal people talk. The normal people talk is considered mansplaining. You know, it's considered like, you can't talk that term. You're not allowed.
Mansplaining. Stop mansplaining. Well, stop being wrong, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
So in any case, I don't know. So this is what happened on Twitter today. And, you know, Mark Walter's like, no politics in Comicsgate right now. But, you know, Mark, this is all about cancel culture. You know, it's like, this is how cancel culture works. And this is kind of what we're against right now. This is what we're up against. These people do get together and they conspire. They use whisper networks. They use secret rooms. They use email chains. And they work really, really hard to destroy people's lives.
But Trump's evil.
Well, I mean, look, that's again, you know, it's like, to me, you know, it's like my feelings about Trump, regardless, you know, they don't really, they don't matter. What matters is that you should be able to believe whatever you want to believe and work in comics based on your merit. You know, and clearly I have merit. My comic book raised nearly $1 million, my first independent comic. So, you know, there is no good reason why I shouldn't be able to get work in the mainstream of comics. Now, I'm afraid like that ship has sailed, because like I kind of went, you know, my thing like now at this point is I never want to work at Marvel or DC again. So I'm going to go ahead and blast. I'm going to go ahead and tell the truth and, you know, reveal secrets and tell people. That's what this channel is called. It's called Comic Artist Pro Secrets. You know, I don't ever want to work for the mainstream again. And so I'm doing things that are unforgivable sins at Marvel and DC, and that's to just talk about what goes on there. You're not supposed to do that. I'll talk openly about it. I'll talk openly about my peers, because I don't want to protect them. I don't want to protect them because nobody, for one reason, nobody protected me, Tug. You know, like nobody ever said he's not a Nazi. Can you imagine that?
No, I actually no. I mean, I watched it play out, and I thought, from again, I'm not. It was really weird because people say, "Oh man, fans." No, we're strangers, man. Strangers stood up better than people that were supposedly at least your peers, but also your friends. People that pretended until they stuck that knife in you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand one thing. Like when I think about it, like I rationalize the behavior of my peers by saying, "Look, they saw what was happening to me. Do they? You know, it's like you can't like if you jump in and defend me, you know that's going to happen to you too." And, you know, that's going to be the end of you. That's going to be the end of your career and your ability to feed your family. That is the evil of these people. You know, that's the evil of them, the power that they hold. So
yeah, but that's how they get strength too, is for people who stand by and let it happen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know there's consequences for taking action, but that's where courage and morals and integrity comes in. Yeah.
Well, that's Comicsgate, because you guys all know that by declaring that you're Comicsgate, even once, I mean, these guys who think that they've left Comicsgate are fooling themselves.
Oh, trust me, I know.
It's like, it doesn't matter. You are Comicsgate, whether you admit it or they're going to tell you you're Comicsgate to your face. This is the life that you've chosen, or it's the life that you've been forced into.
You know what's fun? Mention Comicsgate in a crowded comic store. Even better, try to defend Comicsgate in a crowded comic store.
Yeah.
I'll walk in there with my Mark Waid as a prick shirt on.
I honestly, I don't mind doing that. You know, I do want to talk about Comicsgate everywhere I go because I'm proud of it.
Oh, I did it.
And did you really? How did it go?
Oh, it's just the way you think it went. They looked at me like I had a third head.
Powerful, just powerful.
I was like,
propaganda.
Mark Waid's getting sued right now for the shit he's doing. And
you want to make a point, like I find success makes that point. If I want to be like, hey, you know, there's a movement out here where people are talking about, you know, all the problems that are going on. And well, look at the industry. People tone out. But if you say, hey, this dude with the frog book made $1 million, they're like, holy shit.
Yeah. And it goes even further than that. I mean, you think about it, like a nobody named Micah Curtis got a campaign that's over 10 grand, and I've sold almost 500 individual issues of my comic. That's
Dude, like,
yeah, that's
man. I mean, come on. Like, out of the when I look at it, I'm amazed by where our project is, because I see the pros, what they've done, and you know, there's like diversity in comics, but I mean, our project's at 6 figures. I was like, holy crap. Now, you know, I mean, I appreciate the hell out of it. You know, I appreciate anybody that helped out with it and everything else. I mean, I do. I appreciate that more than I can ever say. But it's astounding. It does say that there is a hungry audience for entertainment. They want to be entertained, and they don't want to. They want personalities out there too that they feel like they can trust, because they've been spit on enough times. You know, that's part of our job as well.
Well, for anybody who says the comics industry is dead, they have to take a really close look at Comicsgate books.
100%. That's what it is. I mean, look, we decide what the industry is. We're making our own comic book industry here, and it seems to be working out for us pretty well. All right, let me read some more super chats here. So let's see. Rhino says Perlmutter may be one of the few to the right of Mao at Marvel, but he's been asleep at the wheel as SJW Marvel took over. He can get gone. Bogus Fortune says digital makes sense if you seal up your print in one of those silly plastic grading boxes and you actually want to read something. Yeah, I don't like the CGC stuff. I just don't like it. I don't understand why all these comics are permanently sealed away. Chris Stanley, thanks for $5. He says, just because. Oh, look at that. Chris Stanley's giving me money just for the heck of it. I appreciate the tips, man. Liam Gray says, allow Caanan to publish a short 5 to 8 page mini in the back of Fearsome with characters he owns. Then if it blows up, he can spin it off. It's a thought. The one says, remember how Joe Quesada took forever to complete Daredevil Father? Yeah. Corey Legend says, I fully admit to pirating the original CyberFrog books to catch up, so hopefully the donations help to offset the injustice. Corey, thanks, pal. Metal Movies and Brewski says, sup, EVS, just wondering if you read my emails. I just tried to look through my emails 5 seconds ago, and I'm buried deep in emails, my friend. Understand, I will catch up with all the emails once I finish this cover, once I finish Vestige, and I have too much to do. Let's see. Carson Depp says Ashcan status got 2 of 3 campaigns, but not the first. Ashcans are still coming in. Oh God, it's such a fucking pain in the ass. It really is. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. They're coming in. You gotta, it's gonna be a little while longer. Chris Stanley says, I'm drunk. Here's $5. By the way, F Mike.
There you go.
It wasn't, by the way, Chris, when you said that, you said, I'm drunk. Here's $5. By the way, F Mike, you only gave me $2. So
oh shit!
You're drunk. As Scipio
there.
Tip the bartender.
Says, I love Mitch, but I can't get into 3 genres packaged together with no ties. Let me buy any one of them for half the price. Well, you can buy any one of them if you want. You can choose one. He does let you do that. Vincent Keith, thanks for $5, says, take the but I'm not Comicsgate to the people who said Ruby Rose isn't lesbian enough. That'll work. Yeah, exactly. It's like the leftists in this industry right now have gotten so extreme, Tug.
Hey, have you seen the news for Doctor Strange about the writer that's attached to it?
No.
I heard about this tonight. So apparently they decided to bring in someone I'd never heard of, and well, that's because nobody had ever heard of him. Jade Bartlett is credited as one of the writer right now. Has no credentials in Hollywood whatsoever. But hey, there's articles out there saying, well, at least they brought in, some representation behind the. Oh my God, man! So.
It's
I mean,
like
there's no experience. It's not even bringing in somebody with terrible experience. We're talking about no experience at all in this industry being given Doctor Strange, possibly all control behind it, or at least partial writer.
Absolutely crazy. I can't even keep track of what's going on with the MCU.
That spells almost doom for that movie, because the last writer that they had for the first one, C. Robert Cargill, is very talented. He was a movie reviewer for a website called The Spill for years. And then Tug, you might remember. I can't remember the name of the movie. What was the movie that the one he had where Ewan McGregor was not Ewan McGregor? The guy who was in The Purge starred in it. What was it? What was that horror film?
It's too drunk to think like that. I don't know.
All right, let me do my research. But
If you notice my pauses kick up a little bit and the profanity kicks up with it and the laughing a lot, yeah, I've probably been drinking.
You've been drinking.
Fair enough, brother.
Good for you.
Yes.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I'm going to be drinking tomorrow. I schedule my drinking now. You know, I got to be careful about when I'm drinking. You know.
Well, I mean, we've got the little one. I got to make sure like everything's good and there's somebody else around. You know, I'm responsible and yeah.
Oh, Cargill is on it apparently, according to Wikipedia. But yeah, he did Sinister. That was
Sinister. Yeah.
Sinister's really good.
Yeah, it's got a good plot to it actually.
I like Sinister. Yeah, it was a good movie. All of those. I think they made a sequel that I didn't get through though. Did they do Sinister 2 or am I mad?
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
I got a hold of that. You were talking the other day about Ring, Ring and Ring You. I just got that. You can get samples, if you know people. We know a lot of people that are attached to different networks. Actually, Critical Blast gets me sample copies. I help them review for them, and yeah, man, I'm gonna check those out. If they're good, man. Hey, you said you've never seen them. I might send them your way after I'm finished with them.
Oh, I'd love to see them. Yeah, I really, I love that stuff. I love like creepy VHS tapes and stuff like that. Like that whole aesthetic freaked me out when I saw it. I really liked it. Fugman says your mic kind of sucks. It does. Does my mic suck tonight?
Oh, mine doesn't, man. Maybe I've got mine low or something.
I don't know. I feel like we sound pretty good.
Yeah, I thought we sounded okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think people are messing with us.
Sounds like AIDS.
Yeah, no, man. You can never. That's the problem. Never trust the chat. Mostly,
I don't. No, I do. I trust the chat. I do. I trust
them to have a lot of fun. That's actually, no matter what, they make it entertaining.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I'm going to get back to work. I love you guys. I gotta focus on this cover and get it done and get this thing over to Zach so I can get back to other stuff. But God bless you all.
I was going to ask before we take off, can I plug Englewood just because we're actually closing that campaign after Saturday because I got to focus on getting it on point and back on schedule.
Yeah. Hold on a second here. I'm pulling it up. God damn it. I'm such a dummy.
You're good, man. Don't worry about it.
All right. Hold on. Englewood, always up to no good. By the way, it's not Englewood. It's Englewood, people tell me. And I thought it was from the Tupac song. All right. Englewood #1. A hero was born in blood. Aren't we all?
Say we're hoping to get hit the 12K mark before closing the in-demand store. I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow, too, on my channel to kind of talk about it. I'm going to have Brian, the artist, do some pencils live if he's available. And the reason for that being is that I want to have Eric Weathers letter this book to make sure that it's done and done well and done right. So, and Eric has already signed on to like me and Preston's book later on. I'm like, if I could bring Eric on here, I definitely want to. Not so much. I just love the dude. He's awesome. So yeah, check it out. My recommendation to anybody who wants the full package of, the director's cut copy that we're doing, which is not just the comic itself, which is 36 pages, but sketch work, a forward by me that tells about the making of process included with it, plus pinup, plus t-shirt, plus a digital backup if you want it. $60 gets you all of that, and yeah, we're close, man. Like we've sold close to 500 total just individual copies. And I have a feeling that this is going to blow a lot of people away because anybody who has read the script yet that's working with me or otherwise has only said 2 words. Holy shit. So
wow. Beautiful. And the art looks better. Every time I look at it, it looks better and better, man.
Yep. Say the Armand, it feels like he's evolving as it goes on. Like the more he shows me, he's also the great thing about this and working with the guys on this book is they're very humble. They're open to criticism. They'll listen to other people and try to because they want to be the best. They want to give the best to this audience because the audience deserves the best from us.
Yeah.
And I've for the last almost 3 years now, I've been listening to comic book fans talk about the way things are going and how they feel left out by an industry that they put so much into. So this is, for me, is giving back, something. Obviously I'm selling it, but even so, it's something that you can buy that you're going to enjoy. And there's going to be more. Next year, we plan on doing Englewood Book 2 next summer, which will be the conclusion of the arc in one big book. And then we may even sell individual issues later on if people want those. That's still up in the air. But needless to say, this is a start of a book that I plan on writing for at least 10 years.
I love it. I love it, pal. Good for you.
Thanks, man.
Englewood, everyone, go back to Englewood, A Hero is Born in Blood. Englewood #1 on Indiegogo. And you guys are absolutely the best. And thank you for, supporting Comicscape Books and Indiegogo campaigns. And all of you gentlemen, love you all. Yellow Flash, love you too, wherever you went. He sent me a message that he had to run real quick. But thank you guys for being here. And I will see you again tomorrow. Another video. I'm getting back to work. And you guys go to bed. It's late.
No promises.
All right, bye.
All right.